don't you make yourself useful? Why don't you come on a radio show where people are listening?
Are you just going to loiter around Matt Morrell like a creep, or are you going to actually jump on the show?
You treat him like I treat Paul. I already know what he's going to say, so I just ignore it.
You're old, you're fat, you don't want to be here, you just want to sit at the blue line.
Why are you talking about Paul?
You're bringing your own escorts now to practice. That's a little racist.
You want to call Aaron an escort. It's not really my type, but if you're interested. Do you ever let her talk?
Yeah. She talks whenever she
She has
wants.
a name. It's Alex.
I know. I couldn't think of it at that moment. I had them with a 9. What did you have?
8 and 9.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a new Fred. It is.
Wow.
No, it's accurate Fred, as I've always been.
Since when? Since I left, maybe?
No,
Because when
for the-
I was here, you were never
For the
accurate.
last 28 years. Tell Patriots fans what you think about this team, and on a state, place that actually people are listening.
How many times you going to go to the same bad joke?
Why?
No, it's nothing bad about it.
Nothing bad. Yeah.
That was the
Fight
third.
you.
That was
I
the
will
third time.
fight you all.
And
It
it's
was the
not
third
really
time.
a
It's
joke.
still funny.
It's really not a joke.
Funny. The truth is sometimes painful.
It's good to have Andy back.
This is Patriots Unfiltered.
Fueled by Duncan.
All right, welcome to Patriots Unfiltered. It is Wednesday here at Gillette Stadium, and you never know who's going to pop in to Patriots Unfiltered, as we saw yesterday. Well, raucous show. But it's Deuce, it's Alex, it's Paul, it's me, it's Matt in the booth, and we're here until 2 o'clock talking Patriots. Oh, no, it's what's today?
Thursday.
I said it's Wednesday.
Oh,
Holy mackerel, I lost track of time.
just
Week
proof
3.
that I don't pay
It
attention
is
to you.
Thursday already here at Gillette Stadium, and today's picks. Gotta hurry. But we got a lot to talk about. We might delve in a little bit to some things that are going on in Boston. I don't know.
Well, we got our Celtics
They didn't have one
correspondent
that fit
here,
him, Alex.
You guys want to get into that already?
You couldn't find one that fit him.
But here's the thing, and Alex, I was going to talk to you, and we'll do this on air, because I don't think that it's
Okay.
I don't think you'll get it too embarrassed or anything. But
No.
I was just like, I like what Alex is getting into on Twitter and all that stuff, but if I'm the Celtics, I'm like, why are the people working for the Patriots getting into our business on Twitter? Because I got a call once for criticizing the Globe on something they were saying about the Patriots, and I got a call because somebody from the Red Sox called us. Like, why is Fred getting involved in this?
Oh.
So just
What
be
if
careful.
I get
But you're-
hired?
Just be careful.
You're famous, though.
Nah, well, she
It's
is
true.
too. Listen, she was a runner-up for the Greg Hill show. I'm only kidding.
That's such a.
I'm only
That was
kidding.
good.
If that's my biggest
that's-
accomplishment in life.
That was a shot at you.
I gotta
that was a
go
shot.
do some soul searching.
That was like if Andy was here. That's something I would say to Andy.
yeah.
But
I'll take it. In
you have to be
hearing.
able to take it.
I do.
Yeah.
But I mean, to be fair, kind of a quirky thing. I don't think he should be putting the organization in that position where.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and isn't there like
And if I
if
cover
it-
the team
if
for
anyone-
an external outlet outside of this job, I cover the Celtics
Yeah, real quick,
part-time.
why don't-
Like,
why don't-
in
why don't you
case
summarize real
people
quick,
aren't from
Freddie?
the area, don't know, the head coach of the Celtics, he's going to get suspended. The question is for how long for having a consensual, intimate relationship with someone on the
a
staff.
female member
so
of
Wojnarowski has reported full year,
Yeah.
and Mazzulo's going to step up as the assistant. It's ready to go, full year.
Yeah. So my thing is this, and this is just, again, we don't know nothing.
Yeah.
If it's a full year, there's something to this.
Right.
There's
100%.
something. Now,
right?
it wasn't, they were very swift to use the word consensual, because if it's anything less than that, he's fired.
Right.
That's for any company. If
Well,
it was less than
If
consensual.
it's not consensual, I mean, he's
Right.
going to get brought up with charges.
It's Matt
That's
Lara.
assault, brother.
Who's the guy for NBC? Matt Lara.
Matt Lauer. Yeah,
Lauer.
Matt
Why
Lauer.
can't you just say names?
I don't know. I don't know names.
We're being serious.
I
now.
know.
It's good with faces.
But
bad with
yeah,
names.
so
It's got a
they
feel for the league.
they were it's very important for them to to specify that it was consensual, but
Yeah.
I think something must have happened.
For sure. There's something going on
You know,
there. This
so-
isn't like your run-of-the-mill.
She's upset, or somebody else was upset, or I don't know.
Yeah,
or
we don't
Or
we
it
don't, we don't
impacted
know
the
what
team.
happened,
Or-
but it's inappropriate. Like it's not that hard. Like I don't really get this. There's a lot of people that are sort of saying, he had an affair. What's the big deal? Like, if you think that's the only problem here,
when you're in a position of management,
your power.
yeah,
yes.
you can't do it.
He's the head coach of the team. How many people in the organization aren't under him?
Right,
Wick,
right. Everybody.
Brad Stevens. That's
Now-
about it.
Now, staffer and staffer, there might be a rule about you have to tell HR something, but that's not the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about people who are working together all day and they're at the same level and they end up.
We've all worked in a million different places where there's office romances that
Right.
go on among people of similar.
But when you're at that level, go find somebody else.
The boss can't.
The
boss can't be in those relationships with his underlings.
And they're like, well, what do you want him to be on Bumble? When he travels from city to city. First
No,
of all,
go on Raya.
do you need somebody from city to city? That's and then
besides the fact
like-
that he has a
like
he's in a relationship.
Yeah, that's better than subordinates. But something happened.
Jeez, I never thought
Yeah.
about that, Deuce. When I was
What?
traveling all those years,
You could have just gone on Bumble.
Bumble.
Yeah.
Like who?
I know.
I would have been Tindering it up.
What happens in Vegas? We were just there, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So anyway,
What was your dating app that you just you recommended? There's a
So
new one?
Raya is the dating app that all the athletes and celebrities are on.
so
is that
Raya.
you have to
You have to
apply?
have you have to be approved to be on it.
Yeah.
Blue check mark.
It's Paul.
I can't even get
Full-
one on
Paul's
Twitter.
on there?
Not even just the full blue check mark. I don't think. I don't know. Full disclosure, I'm not on Raya, but
But I mean, if you're an
I know.
athlete or celebrity, do you need that?
that's the thing is you can't put yourself in this situation. You just went to the NBA Finals. You're now the favorite to win the NBA Finals again. How long did it take you to get this job as a head coach? It's your first year. You really can't act professional
Yep.
with a female staffer. And I mean, it wasn't like the language wasn't. I don't even want to speculate.
And you're a
on this
big
part.
Celtics fan.
I'm a huge Celtics fan.
Yeah.
That's why I'm upset. I don't care. I'm not the morality police on Twitter. I don't care about that. I care that, have some accountability. You are, does this, I don't know. We're in a world where the presidency, doesn't mean anything and it was made a joke of. But, I miss the times where people were accountable and they held position with professionalism and, grace. I don't know. And this wasn't a big deal, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're right.
That's just.
Yeah. I mean, that it's the position. It's the
Now
position.
the Celtics are going into the season as favorites, literally the betting favorites to win one of the best off seasons in the league, and now they don't have their head coach.
Yeah.
And
That's the position you're putting your team in.
And who is the
Not good,
coach?
Bob.
Who is this guy that they're going to have replacing him for the
Joe
for the
Mazzulla,
year?
he's coached the summer league teams, coached summer league teams to a few championships for what that's worth, but he's a Rhode Island guy.
Chess.
Oh.
They did it on purpose.
high school with him.
Yeah.
Chess.
We want.
Matt,
they want-
Maddie, ask Maddie.
Get
Joel.
There we go.
He's a Hendricken guy?
Yeah, he was a senior when I was a freshman.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
because I know he's from Johnston, right?
To give you any atomic wedgies?
His
or
brother was
anything?
a year above me, too.
Oh,
I don't know, random small Rhode Island facts.
funny.
Nice.
They all know each
Are
other.
there any other kinds?
Eric probably knows him, too.
So that's what's going on in the sports world in
Yeah.
Boston.
The year,
it's
the
big.
year,
It's
the
huge.
year thing was just what struck me. That was
That's why it's not just a consensual relationship between two
Yeah, there's
adults.
something.
Clearly, if they're willing to suspend him a
Right.
year and enter the season in this situation.
yeah.
And I don't know the details, but it seems like good for the Celtics for having some principle there. Although their hand might have been forced for all I know. I don't know, but yeah, it's pretty harsh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always tough when you're right in the middle of it breaking, and there's when did it break? When did they know? When is this all? But yeah, you're just getting caught up right now. I feel like on what actually happened.
I mean, this sounds like something like Rick Pitino would do.
I saw a funny
Urban
tweet.
Meyer.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's no one seemed to be there was outrage when it happened to those kinds of guys. Is it because everybody didn't like those guys?
Probably.
When they
Yeah,
had
right. Yeah.
and they were less than this. Because this is actually someone on staff, someone that works for the Celtics.
Right.
And not to mention how this makes female.
And he's
women
not
who
married,
work-
is he? This guy?
Him and
The head
Nia.
coach.
He's in a relationship
he was
with a child.
engaged to Nia Long. From my understanding,
Is it
they were.
Nia? I always thought it was Nia Long.
I might be
Learn
wrong
something
too.
new.
I might
Vocal
know.
fry-
I
You
might
might
be
be
wrong on
wrong.
that one.
Yeah.
I could be wrong on that
Vocal
one.
Fry and Nia Long. I'm learning all kinds of stuff from Alex. She's learning me.
No, the Nia. I'm not gonna. It could be Nia. I don't know. But they were estranged either way.
Oh, okay. I did not know
Regardless,
So he's a
it's
free
a
man.
female staffer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
That just looks bad. Women are not taken seriously enough already in these positions, and it's just another reason to not make these hires. So
And we know it was a female staffer. Because it wouldn't
according
matter if
to
it wasn't.
Sa-
on
it-
Shams
It
Sharania's.
did say on the tweet,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm?
Yeah. I mean,
You're thinking
it doesn't matter if it's
No.
female or male, in my opinion.
No.
No, it's the same.
Yeah.
As long as it's someone that works,
Right.
ostensibly for him.
Yeah.
who had the power. I guess all of our training on our online modules is finally coming
I mean,
out.
in all seriousness, we have to watch hours of this stuff. Like, and now I'm sure everybody who's commenting on it had to watch the same stuff that we did.
Right.
But everybody's okay with it because I don't know if you know, we went to the finals last year, Fred. We have a pretty good team.
There was an immediate knee-jerk defense of it.
Yeah.
All he did was have an affair.
He's a human being.
Don't you want your coach to have some accountability?
I know.
Like,
Yeah. It's the position. He's not. This isn't two staffers with an office romance. You know, I know they happen here all the time.
But again, I worked at the Herald too. They happened there too.
Right.
But I never heard of anything with the boss and like a reporter.
Right.
That's wrong.
That's wrong.
Now you're getting preferential treatment. You're getting assignments that everybody else wants. Why are you getting them? Because you're sleeping with the boss.
And maybe she wants to break up, and the boss says you can't do it, or you lose your job, or you don't get an increase, or whatever. It's not. It's just that's why HR
It's pretty
says
simple to
just
see.
don't do it.
Right.
Just don't do it.
It's pretty simple to see where it can go wrong.
Yeah. Just don't.
the
do it.
lawsuits it opens the team up to. No
Yeah.
comment. Just better to have no comment.
Yeah. And I understand the lament. Well, we spend 24 hours a day here. I don't get to meet anyone. Oh, jeez. Come on, please. You'll find the
Sad
time.
story.
Yeah.
I mean, you're famous.
You're
and
the head
rich.
coach of the Celtics. I mean, you could figure it out, Oy.
Yikes.
All right.
All
Anyway.
right. Yeah, Patriots.
Yeah, Patriots.
Yeah, Ravens.
So
Let's go.
we had our first practice yesterday. We had our first participation report as expected.
Yeah.
Duggar was on it, as did not participate,
Yeah.
even though he was out there.
Yeah, Jacoby too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I mean, in some of the reports now, Jacoby should be okay. Not so sure about Duggar. So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think he's a good piece when you're talking about defending Lamar Jackson of speed and ability to play close to the line of scrimmage.
And tackle. Like he's
Tackle.
a really good tackle. He's a sure tackle.
Yeah. I mean,
Duggar.
it's going to be a blow if he can't go. And it's interesting because Jabril Peppers, Josh Bledsoe are those guys ready to deal with Lamar Jackson.
Plus Bledsoe's hurt too.
Bledsoe's been hurt. Bill talking a little bit about Peppers. Haven't really got to know him much. It still seemed like he's like in the education phase of what they're doing. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure how they're going to match.
Pepper spent time in Cleveland, so he might have at least some experience going against Lamar.
That's a good
Lamar
observation. I have to check.
Wow, I'll tell you, between the positive affirmation I got yesterday on this show from my coworkers, and now that from Deuce,
You don't know what to do.
I'm riding a hot streak.
Okay.
I'm really
It seems
high
to
on
me,
myself right now.
I
I am the opposite of vocal fry right now.
It seems to me
Speaking with
with the
confidence.
Baltimore offense, this is an offense where you can actually do well or you can fail miserably, because I think you need to play really good, solid team defense.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily need studs on defense to compete with these
Discipline.
guys. Yeah, you have
need
to be
discipline.
disciplined. I think that's a good word.
Did you use?
That's another praise for you.
Thanks,
Paul.
Fred. I'll expect a little extra this week in the envelope. Did you answer Deuce's roundtable questions?
I did. Just before I came
Well,
down.
that was part of my answer to like the key matchup.
Yep.
And short of like a specific matchup, I just said Judon against Lamarvelous, because the edges I think need to. It's going to be Uche. Probably Mac Wilson.
Yeah, I put Mac Wilson in there.
Those
Yeah.
kinds of guys, because I don't know who's going to be on the other side. I know Judon is on one side, but that's exactly what I meant when I wrote that, is the discipline that it takes to not get upfield and not necessarily chase after him, but contain him.
Right.
Is hard for 60 minutes.
Right.
He's waiting for you to make one of those mistakes where he can shoot a gap and all of a sudden he's off to the races.
Right. Or you commit too much and the guy's wide open over the top,
Right.
Yeah,
So
and he can hit them too. They're just, explosive scores, and that's, one of my biggest keys to the game is just the big plays. If you can keep him kind of contained and not give up that 79-yard touchdown run, or get beat over the top. But of course, as I texted Paul, getting a little help on the injury report as we got back upstairs after yesterday's show. Lamar not really throwing, got a elbow sleeve on.
Yeah, who knows?
Duvernay, Calais Campbell, and Justin Houston getting veteran days off. So what's it going to mean when we get out there? I don't know, but we'll see.
Yeah, they are having trouble with their pass rush, I guess, over in Baltimore. They had Jason Pierre-Paul in for a free agent visit,
really?
and Harbaugh's come right out and said, we got to do better.
I mean, I think they're a little bit of a mix of kind of like the Patriots were, where you've got a couple of old horses that maybe aren't quite what they used to be, and then you've got some young guys like Queen and what's his name, Owe.
He was a first-round draft pick.
He's been
yeah.
disappointing
Yeah.
so far. He was great last year, but I think he's off to a slow start, to
That might
Fred's
be-
point.
yeah.
And then you have the big lead the other day. You would think that's when you're really going to be able to generate some pressure, and
Yeah.
obviously they didn't,
Yep.
according to Harbaugh.
Yep. So I think it's a they're all fascinating. Every week poses different challenges, but this is fascinating because of Lamar Jackson. You know, he's so unique.
Yep.
Not that he's the only running, but he's so good. I mean, like, Mahomes is a good runner, but he ain't Lamar Jackson when he runs.
I mean,
you
there's
know?
only a handful of players in the league where one misstep or missed tackle, he's fast enough that you're done. You're done. You're
He's
not
the
going to catch
best
him.
running quarterback, I think, ever.
Better
yeah.
than Michael Vick.
Vic is
yeah.
the,
Those are
Vic
the
is
two,
the only
right?
one.
Yeah.
Vic is the only one that comes close, and I don't think he ever had the production.
Better than Archie Manning?
Arch or Archie?
Yeah.
Be
Fran
specific.
Tarkenton?
Be specific. No.
That's a good
Roger the Dodger Staubach?
Great scramblers. all of those guys are great scramblers. Vic is the only one to me is even in the category, and I think this guy's a better pure runner. I think he has more power than Vic did. Vic may have been more explosive, but I mean,
Yeah.
1,000-yard seasons and
Yeah. What would you rather see happen? What do you think the Patriots could live with more? One of their receivers having 150 yards reception, or Jackson rushing for 100 yards?
I might
what would
say,
they rather have?
I mean, I might
Yeah.
say Jackson Rush for 100
I
yards.
think so, too.
You know?
Because he's gonna get his yards.
I think you're in trouble either way
Really? Yeah.
with that. I would probably go with you guys. I would probably say
Yeah.
that
Because if he's throwing it around, then
if the
you know
receiver,
you got no answers.
if the receivers are held in check and it's just Jackson,
Right.
because if he's throwing to 150 yards to Rashad Bateman, he's probably running well too.
Yeah.
But I think you're in trouble if Lamar Jackson rushes for 100 yards too. That means he's made a lot of plays.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I think the running backs aren't impressive too. So
No, the running backs have done
any
nothing.
way you can get them to, I think anytime he's handing the ball off or not throwing it to Mark Andrews is probably a good thing. But like you said, it's so unique the way his speed, the speed he's got around him, but also, as I mentioned yesterday, the power and the size of the tight ends. And, it's all very deliberate how Baltimore has kind of planned this out. And, I mean, I don't know. Do you think they're happy with it? Do you think that they feel like we need to not get away from Lamar? I'm sure they'll probably sign Lamar, which
Well,
Bill talked about yesterday. But,
I mean,
is there a tweak to it? How do they continue to evolve? Because it seems like, they've kind of figured out what their plan was with Lamar, and they've kind of stuck with it for 3 years. And it's definitely been productive. I mean, he had an MVP season 2 years ago. But at the same time, I think you got to continue to evolve. And
The
I just
contract
wonder.
stuff is so weird.
Oh, I
too.
think they've evolved as a passing team.
Oh, well,
I don't think
his
there's
improvement.
I don't think there's any question about
I think
that.
his improvement for sure.
I think that they're probably wondering, what do we need to do? Is it just getting J.K. Dobbins back? And he's not healthy. I mean, he might play this week, but he's not going to be himself probably for a few weeks. Look at I read those numbers off to you yesterday. I mean, Drake has 17 carries for 39 yards in 2 games. Like, they have to find a way to get some. That was the big thing that they did in 19. It was Mark Ingram.
Mm-hmm.
It was, all these other guys running for 100 yards all the time, and you couldn't stop them. He would if you geared up to stop him, he just would hand it off. If you did the other way around, he would keep it.
What was that first year? Was it 19, the first year the Patriots played Baltimore with Jackson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
First loss
In
of the year.
Baltimore, and it was just like, how do you stop this team? I mean, the Patriots looked inept
Yeah. Right.
that day.
That was when it all
There was
kinda came
no
crashing
stop,
down.
whether it was the
I think-
running back
I think
or
they put 38
or-
on the board that
or,
day.
the tight end was killing him. Everything was killing him that day. And
Even
you,
Hollywood Brown.
yeah, you pick your poison and you just get burned the other way. It was awful.
Yeah, his numbers. I mean, his numbers against the Patriots:
They're pretty
71.9% completion rate. I mean, over 70%. I mean, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. 27 carries, 116 rushing yards, 2 rushing TDs. So, he's been a little bit more productive. I guess. I mean, I guess it's pretty balanced, really.
He's got 5 touchdowns.
5 touchdowns, 3 passing, 2 rushing.
Oh, okay. I thought it was 5 passing, but and you take that. Everybody seems to remember that game in the monsoon. That he did not. He was 24 for 34 in that game. Like, he didn't play that bad.
Yeah.
I mean, considering the elements.
Yeah. Other part of it too is, I mean, they haven't really turned the ball over that much. I mean, I think they've been pretty good with that. just that one interception against the Jets for him. So, they're playing pretty clean. I think the Patriots can't really expect to, that they're going to give you a couple turnovers. So you're going to have to beat them, I think, straight up. It's just a great matchup against the Patriots. Just a team, you heard it yesterday and the day before about how much, these teams are similar, I think. Just the philosophy overall of the toughness and, we'll see where both teams are. It's always an interesting matchup because I respect them. I really think John Harbaugh is a good coach. It just kind of depends on the day and how the game starts to unfold. You never quite know how it's going to go against these guys.
Are we mad at John Harbaugh for anything he said last year or recently?
I don't know. I give him a
I'm
little
sure
bit
you
of a
can
wide
get there,
berth.
Fred. Give it some thought.
I could probably
I
find
thought I
sometimes
recall-
he's annoyed me, but
I thought I recall him saying something that was like, mind your own business or something. I forget what it was. But,
Yeah.
Is it his brother, maybe?
No, I forget. I don't know what he chirped us about something.
Chirp the Patriots?
Yeah.
Last year?
Didn't it? Wasn't there something that he said? I forget.
I don't remember.
I think you might be right, but I've forgotten.
Well,
I'm trying to be a bigger person and letting those
he
things
can't
go.
be right if you forgot it because that's ingrained in you people. Like,
Well, maybe
that
one of
kind
our
stuff.
listeners can remind me.
Why do we
There
hate
was
John
something
Harbaugh?
where it's
Put the
like,
call out.
No,
Oh, there-
today. I mean, we know that in the past there have been reasons, but
Yeah.
why today?
Yeah, like complaining about the stuff in the 2014 game with the ineligible receiver stuff.
Yeah,
all
well, that was a while ago.
But I don't. It's all these guys. I mean, Bill does the same kind of stuff. Like they're football coaches. They're competitive. They get they
They're
say
whiners.
sometimes. Yeah, like they do. I just think he's consistently put together a good team. I respect how they tacked with Lamar Jackson. I think that takes a lot of.
He's one of the league's good
cojones.
coaches.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's there's a handful of them, but he's definitely one that gets the job done. I think.
Yeah. All right. So has the line moved at all, Paul? Or
I think it's 2.5 or 3 or something like that. I think that's what I've seen.
Yeah.
And
Sticking
that's what
around
I think that's what I saw.
I heard on one of your
I think
shows
it's
this
2.5
morning
in
that
the Globe this morning.
like 90+% of the bets are on Baltimore.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, I have not gotten. I
Ooh.
dropped the ball.
What
I
are
have
the
yet to
sharps
get the
now?
Ryan Hannibal
Yeah.
handle update.
Yeah. That's what they said.
That's what he does now.
with the lip shots.
young Hannibal. He works for
Yeah.
Gamblings.
When
is
again-
it DraftKings?
MGM.
MGM. I don't know.
MGM.
I don't know.
My apologies.
Yeah. So
there, Ryan.
Lipschatz said, I think this morning that 90%.
Let me guess. He's
lot
on the
of action.
Patriots.
He's on the Patriots.
Yeah, that's a stunner.
A lot of action.
Extending his streak since I heard this name for the first time, has picked the Patriots in every single. I was like, I can't have my gambling expert only pick his favorite team.
Right.
Come on, I don't even.
I need my gambling expert to either say,
I'm
you know
laying
what?
off.
I'm a Patriots fan. I don't really like them this week, which is code for I think the other team's going to cover. But I respect it. You're a fan of the team, so you don't ever bet against your team.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
But never once have I heard him pick the other team.
And he comes
ever.
up with reasons.
Yeah.
I'll give him credit. You
Like
know,
gambling reasons or just
Yeah.
like
Oh,
football?
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
no,
I just
homerific reasons.
I
Wow.
just believe.
Fred
That's like
hears
me
this
this
stuff
week.
too because Fred and I, we were kind
Well-
of talking to these guys. We were like, yeah, should we?
Well,
should we think about it?
his cohort Joe Murray had
he
a
just wants to
stat.
know
He
where the
said,
beefs are.
the record of teams who played Pittsburgh and then the next week who play Baltimore, it's only happened 3 times. They're 0-3, but they are 0-3.
But that's so irrelevant.
right.
Like I don't care if it was like 100.
Right.
Like who cares?
Well, if it's 100, that's more of a sample set.
Well, only if it happened now.
Yeah.
Like I heard them talking about some things with the Pittsburgh-Cleveland game tonight in terms of like division games and this. And I was like, they're all different players. Like this is.
I know.
Like you want to tell me Kirk Cousins on Monday Night Football is 2-10? That's one guy. One player who was going to be playing in this game as well is 2-10 on Monday Night Football. Might want to fade him on Monday Night Football, right? There's obviously something that he has
Right.
that's relevant. Like
You know what fade means?
Yeah, like
Alex,
just like
lay
slowly
off.
dissipate into
Yeah,
the
lay off
background,
him.
push
Yeah,
him
yeah.
into
gotta push back.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna push away.
Fade that.
I don't know why fade is
What's
the
the
word.
opposite of fade? Like if
Fade
you
or
like
follow.
something, follow.
You follow?
Yeah.
Is that the word?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
That's
that.
that's their terminology,
Okay.
not mine. I'm not a
Bump.
I'm not a
I would
gambler.
say just bump them a little, give
Those
them a
guys.
little
Give him a
bump.
little bump. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Pound the over.
What? It's ride. I'm going to
Evidently-
ride him.
Evidently,
Fred.
the one thing that I heard this morning. Remind me on that. The one thing I heard this morning that I thought was really interesting is, and I forget the percentage. I think it was 69. 69% of the games through the first 2 weeks under,
Oh,
something like that.
okay.
That's I mean,
Scoring's down.
scoring's down early in the, so not just you.
Well, Goodell's going to have to make some rule changes
I
then.
mean, Bill anticipated this, and
Chess.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can take us into a new direction.
Okay. Deuce.
I think it was interesting press conference yesterday with Mac, and I thought Tommy Curran does what Tommy Curran does well. He went right at it, and first Mac's kind of sitting there waiting in the wings, and
I like RPOs. They're cool.
They're cool.
And stuff.
hey, he complimented Evan. He's like, hey, good job watching film. But this was before that. Devin McCourty was getting ready to wrap up, and Tom kind of went right into the question of the week, and I think we've talked about it here. Was is Mac plateauing? Is Mac not progressing? I think that's been kind of like the buzz this week, a little bit of that story. And, and Tom kind of laid the question out to D-Mac of, you came in to 2010, had, really good season. I think he was a second team All-Pro, I think. And then as Tom put it, he's like, the next year you came in, you kind of struggled. I'm like, well, they went to the Super Bowl. But, the point is still apt. Like, he did, not play quite up to that level at cornerback again. Just kind of asking. It was a little bit awkward because Mac is standing right there.
Right.
And you could tell what the inference was that he's not playing as well in his second year. So, D-Mac answered that and, kind of had like no one knows what it's like to play quarterback, even you. And, I mean, not as angry as I just made it sound there. But and then, kind of asked Mac a little bit too, but not that he gave any answers. But I just, I thought it was interesting that's kind of the story of this week after 2 games. And, credit to Tom for just asking the hard question right to face to those guys. They didn't really give it any oxygen, but I think that's what's brewing right now.
I just think it's way too early to be able to say, oh, Mac's regressing. I've heard that. I've heard it. But really, how is he regressing?
And I get it. I mean, 2 games, but at the same time, continuation of last year.
First of all, I think he was good last year for a rookie. But
I would agree with that.
But he wasn't that great where what he's doing now is a regression from last year.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a shot on last year. I get that by me saying that, but I don't think he's any worse than he was last year right now.
Yeah.
And he's more working against him this year.
Well,
considerably.
And I'm not even factoring. You're right, but I'm not even factoring that in. I'm just looking at his physical play. I'm not even looking at the mental stuff and the coaching and the new offense and all that stuff. I'm just looking at how does he look when he drops back and passes.
Yeah.
Other than sometimes a little skittish, which he did last year too, I don't see much of a difference yet. I don't see a big jump, which is what we're hoping for, and maybe we'll see that as the season gets a little older. But regression, I think, is a strong word, and I think it's unfair at this
I just
point.
think it's too small of a sample.
That's
Exactly.
exactly it.
I think he
It's
hasn't played
a
as well this
few-
year as he did last year, but
he's-
I think it's too
right.
early to say that.
He's been a little inaccurate, but how many throws has he even made?
I don't
this
think
year?
he's read the situation as well as he did last year. I don't, we were talking about just the way he looks in the pocket. I don't think he's looked as comfortable.
But I look at it as
he did last year.
how does he look through the first 3 games this year versus first 3 games last year?
But that's but that's not what you should be looking at.
No, but that's not how he progressed. I mean, in November, if he doesn't look as good as he did last year, I'll say, okay, he regressed.
Yeah.
But
no, I get that.
Give it a little time.
Sample size
Yeah.
and whatnot. But you shouldn't be comparing him now to his first 3 games last year. You should be comparing him now to the last 3 games.
Well, then he's gotten better.
No, he hasn't.
Because they did terrible in the last 3 games.
Well, and
Except for Jacksonville.
And the offense has been similarly terrible.
Yeah. Well,
that's the thing.
Yeah.
Interception on the end zone against Buffalo. Interception in the end zone against Miami. I mean,
Exactly.
I'm being
Now,
facetious,
again,
but
I agree with Fred's larger point that 2 games is not enough to say he's regressed.
Yeah.
I don't think he's looked good so far. But to Fred's point, let it be like October, November, and was like, geez, they played 10 games. He's really only had 2 really strong ones. He's regressed.
Yeah.
2 games. I'm not ready. I'm not ready for that.
And to Alex's point, he's adjusting to the Matty P offense. So
And then I go back to what I said last year about how Bill and treats everybody. He keeps people in a box. He tries to minimize mistakes, and sometimes whether it's guys rushing the passer or in this case a quarterback, he doesn't really let them loose all the time. And guys like Chandler Jones, could he have had a lot more sacks when he was here? Probably, but that's not the style of defense that they play. That's not the job that they ask him to do, play to play. And I think it's the same thing with quarterbacks.
Yeah, I think Phil, by the same token, asked another good question about the 50-50 balls. And, is that, like you talk about managing risk. I mean, we've seen some risk on those. And are they trying to push it? Are they trying to say we need more explosive plays? Is that in his head?
I really liked that question by Phil.
Is that what they're trying to do? Because that's what I think. You talk about changes from last year. There's a little bit more pushing it downfield and a little less of taking the easy money underneath sometimes, and not a lot, but I think that's the area where he can improve. And we'll see how it all kind of comes together. The other part, Paul and I were talking about this morning.
But I guarantee you, if they scored 17 points and didn't push it down the field and just took the underneath stuff, people say they could score more if they pushed it down the field.
Yeah. I don't think it's. I honestly don't think it's been pushing it downfield more. I think the other part is that Mike talked about is like the willingness to just sort of throw it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that to me that's a conscious effort, a conscious decision by, I don't know.
Give him a chance on it. Put it
if
up
it's
there, give him a
Belichick
chance,
or if it's Mac himself saying, I have to do a better job of giving my receivers chances to make plays. I don't think that they've thrown it downfield. I mean, I'm not comparing it again to the first couple of games. I'm comparing it to the balance of the season.
Yeah.
I don't think that they've necessarily gone bombs away any more often than they did last year. I just think that they're doing it in a way like last year they would take a shot. They would set it up. The guy would pop open and he would throw a bomb. This year it's just like, we don't care. If we got this guy one-on-one over there, we're going to throw it up to him. They did it to Parker in the first game. They did it to Aguilar in the second game. They did it to Aguilar in the first game down the right sideline. Then they did it to Bourne down the left sideline.
But you even said, Paul, in the first game, that really wasn't supposed to be a 50-50 ball, that Parker shot.
No. The first one was. The one against Miami was absolutely a 50-50. Howard was in his shirt the whole time.
Yeah.
He actually interfered with him. The one Sunday, I don't think was a 50-50 ball. I think it was a bad throw.
Okay. Yeah.
What's funny, Paul, I was remembering back to some of the training camp practices. Do you remember that, like, where they were throwing it down the field a lot, and you were like, it feels like they're doing this on purpose to, like, send a message.
Yep.
Like, look what we can do now.
Yep.
But
look at our shiny new toys.
I mean, it seems like, it's continued to be a piece, and hopefully they start to hit those ones.
That was the Jonnu Smith play that everybody is criticizing Mac for missing Jacoby Myers on.
Mm-hmm.
The third down play was a deep over to Jonnu Smith. I saw that play 5 times in OTAs.
Well, I mean, what is there
harder
anything
to complete when you have pads?
Is there anything to be said about getting things on tape early in the season so teams have to look at that and say, okay, they're willing to do this?
It's probably part of that.
Yeah. That feeds into like another point that I thought was really interesting talking with Paul this morning about, there's been a lot of commentary about how simple the Patriots offense is, how there's no motion, there's no play action. It's, by some people's terminology, rudimentary. But I feel like it's a race because other teams are studying this now. So at some point they have to start to add volume and make different twists and turns within the offense. Can they do that at a pace that will beat the defensive coordinators that are studying this offense? And if it really is a rudimentary offense, then they're going to get a beat on it. They're going to know exactly what to do. I mean, we talk about it all the time as, once we get to week 6, we'll know what we have. Well, then other teams are going to know what you have too. Are you still able to continue to push the envelope with this offense and build off of it? Maybe they were just starting from a very simple place. I don't love that. How hard is it to put some play action plays in? But we'll see. I think that's going to be a big thing of, where are we at offensively in October? Are other teams just completely aware of what they're doing and they're really struggling to move the ball, or are they really starting to evolve and they're staying one step ahead of the defense?
And to your point, Fred, like if you were producing and you were scoring 28 points a game, no one would care about pre-snap motion. No one would care about play action.
Right.
So they're not doing those things. So now people are asking, well, maybe if we add some of these elements in, we might improve things.
Or they get worse.
You
don't know.
It could. I don't know how, sending a guy in motion is going to make you worse. But
I mean, I don't know if they just who knows what the coaches said in the offseason but maybe the mindset was we're starting from scratch. We're building from the ground up with this offense.
Yeah, that was something I talked to Evan a little bit about where, there's such a game plan offense. It's like, and I don't want to say they don't need a playbook, but like how much of the playbook is staying the same week to week? I mean, it feels like once they get into the season, it's kind of, all right, here are the plays we're going to run. So maybe they did. Maybe they are just kind of, look, let's just start with the basics, and we're slowly going to start to build and add to a point where by the end of the season, we're going to be doing RPOs, we're going to be doing play action, we're going to, It's possible. It's
Yeah.
possible. I'm probably a little bit skeptical still that that you can start from 0 and go to 100 like that, but I don't know. They have a plan. I don't know if it's going to work. I'm curious.
You can't get away from the fact that they lost an offensive coordinator who knew this stuff,
Yeah.
like nobody's business. And you have guys on offense now who haven't done offense before. And maybe that was the thing. We're starting from scratch here.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Really
learning.
Really scratch.
Yeah. All right, 855-PATS-500 is the Ace Ticket hotline. Web radio at patriots.com is the email address. Let's get to the phones. We'll start with Patty in Agawam. What's up, Patty?
What's up, everyone? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So just one quick question today. And I'm glad that Evan brought up RPOs yesterday, and that's kind of where the direction I'm heading. Do you think we see a little bit of a shift to them using a little bit more RPOs in this week's game to sort of get the offense going, see if something works, sort of like throwing crap against the wall and seeing what sticks?
Yeah, I mean, I think they ran, it was 5 of them last week or so. So, I don't know. I mean, I know everybody here is kind of pushing for it because that's what they were good at Alabama. And, I mean, even hearing Mac talk about him yesterday, about Nick Saban getting, so upset when they would run them in practice because his defense would just be put in no-win situations. Mac was like, yeah, they're cool. The classic, Mac.
RPOs are cool.
They're cool. But, I mean, I think it would be all for it. The more wrinkles and
Yeah.
stuff they can add, the better. And as he wrote, he was really good at them at Alabama. They were super effective. They're effective in the league. Josh wasn't really into him, and I think it's an easy place to continue to build.
When you're running an RPO, what, besides the quarterback, recognizing and making the right decision, what else has to really be good? Is it the offensive line getting out of their, what is it that makes that happen?
Well, they asked David Andrews about him too, and he said it's kind of funny because you obviously have to be careful not to get too far downfield. And David said usually they'll throw it quick enough, but he said usually they throw it when you're making your best block. So when you're making your best run block, they feels like, oh man, they're going to throw it. It's not even going to matter. So I think that's an element of it too. But I think it's a lot on the quarterback identifying what's going to be the right play and what to choose. So I think they ran it every time on the RPOs this week. So we'll see if they can start to throw them maybe a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, and I hope he settles down a little bit too, because that last week's game, he looked way too antsy in the pocket. Anything to get that guy settled down, I think they'll be all right. Like Fred says, they'll be fine.
I thought he looked better
Thanks,
last
Patty.
week in the pocket. I wasn't
did too.
quite as
Yeah, I did
as
too.
right out of the gate. I know there were plays where pressure came and he had to kind of dance around a little bit, but I thought that was an improvement from the get-go. It seemed right, first
It's almost
few
like they
snaps.
said, the line's going to block for you.
comfortable.
Yeah, the line's
Trust
going to
them.
block
Yeah.
for you. We've talked to them. They know.
Yeah.
You worry about what you have to do, and don't worry about their job.
Which, going back, that's what he did last year. It felt like, he stepped right in and there's chaos going around him. He seemed to be able to continue to push the ball down the field and keep his eyes downfield. And I think he can do it, and hopefully that was a growing point for them to get some confidence last week.
Matt's in Ohio. What's up, Matt?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good.
Hey, Matt.
Hey, Paul, I finally got the chance to listen to you on Felger and Maz yesterday, and thank God you were on there because you kind of settled Felger down a little bit. But
Why'd you do that?
Question I think the question was completely unfair with comparing Mac Jones to Jalen Hurts and Tua. And then him making the point that, well, everybody last year said they would have took Mac Jones #1 overall. Those are two separate groups of quarterbacks that, obviously Jalen Hurts and Tua are going to be.
Yeah, I did correct him on that. I know what you're talking about. Because he went from the 3 Alabama quarterbacks to the 5 first rounders last year, which is totally different sets of players.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I would still take Trevor Lawrence over Mac Jones, but that's a different story. But my point is, I just don't understand why everybody's just calling for Mac Jones right now. It's a progression. It's the second game of the year. He played better on Sunday. He's just got to get more confident. I think he has all the tools in the world to be able to make us contenders. The Matt Patricia and and Bill are going to put him in situations to help the team, and they're not trying to make him look bad or, going to make the Patriots lose. I mean, come on, Bill's not stupid, and so is Matt Patricia. He's not dumb as well. He might be a defensive coach, but again, he's smart. So I think it's just we're going through some learning pains right now. I mean, and it just happens to Mac Jones just gets the brunt of it. But I think we'll be all right. I mean, I'm optimistic, and I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, obviously you think the same way.
Sure.
But I just don't understand why everybody's just jumping all over him already. I mean.
Well, I don't think everybody's jumping all over him.
Jones,
I think people are.
Yeah.
Some people are.
I think there's some people that are wondering if he's the guy of the future.
He's regressed.
I also would disagree with that he played better Sunday than he did in the first game. I don't think he did. I think he was better against Miami than he was in this game. I thought his pocket presence was better in this game, but I don't think he threw the ball better in this game.
I think that this game offered more opportunities that he didn't take advantage of.
Yeah.
I think there were points they left on the table this game.
I definitely
don't.
agree with that.
I don't think there were points they
Absolutely,
left on the
yeah.
table. I mean, unless you want to count the last drive. The last drive would have been a scoring drive. If time doesn't run out at the end of the game, they're going to score on that drive.
Maybe not points, but I think yards.
I don't think
Definitely
they
plays.
I don't think
Yeah.
they
Right,
drove.
that's
I don't
a
think they
point.
drove into scoring position very often in the game.
yeah, but
on
I think
Sunday.
that was more their fault than Pittsburgh's.
Yeah, they're not good.
Oh,
I almost said something bad.
Stink.
all right. Thanks, Matt. Mike's in Puerto Rico. What's up, Mike?
Morning, everybody.
Hey.
Hey, Paul, have you resolved your flipping through Amazon back to TV problem?
My what?
Your Amazon, your streaming inability to change channel issue.
You can't.
Are you willing to put in? Are you willing to do a one-time $60 investment?
No.
That can fix that.
I'm not willing to spend any more money
Okay.
on streaming services. I have every one of them, and I'm going broke.
I think he's talking about a piece
What are
of
you gonna
hardware.
pitch?
I don't want anything
Roku?
else. No.
Correct.
Like a Roku or something?
Yeah, I was a Chromecast. I was thinking you
Yeah.
could do a Chromecast and then just hit the input button, and then you can flip from the streaming back to the TV. But if that's not what you want to do, then
No, I don't want to spend any more money to do it.
Oh,
No.
I see what he's saying. I see. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I do. And even with
No, I'll just not watch the
depending on
game.
your TV.
Which is perfectly fine tonight. A nice division
you're
matchup
not gonna
tonight
watch
that I
this one?
have zero interest in, and I will not put it on.
You love Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah. Ugh.
And one last thing, Paul, because if you do it that way with certain TVs, you can actually do picture-in-picture. So you could have like one big screen, one small screen, and
That's
then
not
just go
bad.
back and forth. At least
How far are you
Do
from?
you use picture-in-picture, Fred?
What?
Do you use
I don't.
picture-in-picture?
I don't have
I
it.
wish I could.
Picture-picture
all
is
TVs
like
have
the
it.
one casualty of. What? Where are
You
you,
don't get
getting
picture-in-picture?
picture-picture?
No,
You don't
No.
get picture-in-picture on your TV?
I don't.
I don't think so.
Oh.
I have a really old
I don't
TV.
think I do.
I haven't used it in 20 years. Like
No, I haven't
picture-in-picture.
used
That's
it.
Oh,
my point.
a
It's
long
like
time ago, I had a
casualty
TV
of-
that you
of
could do
streaming.
split screen.
Oh, you
and I
could
used
do
to do
split
that.
screen. You could have a square. You
Yeah.
could put different squares in different corners.
It always sounded great in theory,
I haven't
but
used
I
it
felt
in
like
20
you had
years.
to
It's
go.
useless.
I think Mike could probably confirm this. Like you need to go different input. Like you can't watch like one TV
Exactly.
channel on the
That's
same
what I'm gonna
input
say.
and blow
Right.
one up. So
That's the problem.
you need
with,
to like, when am I going to be watching a DVD?
That's the problem with entering a third-party app.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I see what he's saying though. If you're streaming it to your one of your other inputs, then you
Yeah.
can do it. So I don't know, Mike. How far are you from Peabody? Can you make a trip up?
Ah.
Do some installation there
Yeah, I
in the
don't-
Perillo Entertainment?
Yeah,
Do you have
unless
any in
you're
your
going to pay
grotto?
for it. I mean, I'd be happy to take it for free.
We could put it in the grotto.
Jose, California,
The grotto is
so
where
you
we.
could-
I don't have a grotto.
All right. Thanks,
I'm not
Mike.
a Miyadoka. I'm very happily married.
That's one of my favorite holdovers from the remote shows during COVID. Was Paul outside at his pool?
You were
and-
jealous.
Oh,
Don't lie.
Of course I was jealous. I'm sitting
I would
in
do
like
the
my
shows
room.
from my
I
back
was-
deck
From
with my
the
pool in the
sitting
back.
No way.
And then one day I was like, Paul, where's your grotto? I don't have a grotto. So now we're like, he's a grotto up back there. It's a whole thing.
God,
He did the shows from her deck. All you heard was ambulances and police cars
Megan, I
in
know.
Boston.
Megan,
Oh,
go,
and Megan,
go
yeah.
back inside. What are you doing? Meg Morant of WWE.
Fame.
Dan's in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Hey, Dan.
Living here in Allentown.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good.
Probably never heard that one, Dan.
So I just have a quick question. It's mostly for Fred Steele for the league.
Oh, no.
Mostly
Uh-oh.
this game. So is this the week that Devontae Parker gets more than 3 catches? Is this the week against the secondary?
Yes.
Well, more than one.
Yes.
If you
Which
guys
would
had to
represent a
pick,
Patriots
who do you
high.
think if you guys had to pick, who do you think the breakout receiver is going to be this week?
For the Patriots, let's see.
I mean, so in other words, it can't be Aguilar or Myers.
They're not already broke out.
It's the question really who's going to
Bourne
have
or-
the most receptions
Bourne,
this
Parker,
game?
or
Bourne
the
or
tight
Parker?
ends. Or the tight ends, maybe.
Yeah,
I'm going to say Hunter Henry.
Really?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, you're really going
Yeah.
to throw a curveball
I'm with
there.
Paul on that one. I think that's
Well,
a good pick.
I'm assuming that we can't say Myers or Aguilar. I think they'll be the leading receivers.
Okay.
One of those two guys will be the leading.
So the guy who
probably
hasn't
Myers.
really had a lot yet that will will
He's had a
break out.
breakout.
Hunter Henry touchdown.
Yeah.
Hunter Henry touchdown.
Daniel's looking for someone who really hasn't done much yet to break out.
Jonnu Smith.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. I see you.
Feel for the
I'm going to
league.
go Hunter Henry. I might have had to use him in my fantasy league this
Okay.
week.
All right.
Dalton Schultz, a little iffy.
You're
Matt.
second
I had to
in
make a
best
move.
12
That's
years,
3
buddy.
moves in 3 weeks. I'm disgusted with myself.
Good pick. Good pick. I like it.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right.
Alex, you're doing great work, by the way.
Thank you.
She needs to speak up. I'm
All
a little
right.
upset at her
I'm
right
gonna
now.
pick Parker
Okay.
just
Okay.
because
There you go.
I kind of want to give him a little boost of confidence. I don't think
Much
I
like
think some
Fred.
things were not his fault last week in particular.
I agree.
I thought that Mac could have thrown the ball a little bit more accurately to him.
All right.
And I think with all the talk, he's in the news. All the beat reporters are writing about his lack of productivity, and the Baltimore secondary feels like an opportunity for them to try to air it out. So
It is so funny how the narrative comes and then everybody writes about it.
Right.
It's so
right.
funny.
We're off the Shanahan offense now. Nobody's asking about the Shanahan offense anymore. Now we're doing something totally different. It's been such a unique journey for Parker. I mean, that first few days of camp, it just felt like they threw every single ball to him. You know, like they were, like I think Paul said, like trying to prove a point with him. And they're continuing to do it. I think he will. I don't think he's ever going to, like, break out, but, like, I think he's got some use.
he's a good player.
He's got some use.
I think Parker has been a good player. I don't think he's ever lived up to what he was supposed to be. But I wonder if it's not necessarily the kind of guy that fits with what they do. Like, throwing balls to a covered receiver, I don't really understand. That seems to run counter to Bill Belichick's philosophy.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back after this. We got picks today. Got to hurry.
Want to get into the game? Get coached up at Dean College. Equipped with exclusive academic partnerships featuring the Patriots, Revolution, Providence Bruins, summer baseball, and more, our classrooms are set up for success by learning directly from the pros. Dean College has programs in communications, sports management, business, and marketing with unprecedented hands-on experiences. Our students take what they learn in the classroom and put it right to work in the marketplace. At Dean College, our students don't just play games, we run them. Visit us at dean.edu.
There's no season better than football season. And there's no better place to get in on all of the action than with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy sports partner of the New England Patriots. To add to the thrill, DraftKings has millions of dollars in prizes up for grabs every week. So head to the app now and check it out. If you haven't tried it yet, fantasy football is easy to play. Just pick 9 players, stay under the salary cap, and pile up points for yards, touchdowns, receptions, and so much more. There's no better way to put your football knowledge to the test than to compete for a shot at $1 million in total prizes. Download the DraftKings app now and use promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week. That's promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week, only at DraftKings. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
How did Verizon build the fastest 5G in the world? We started by building it right with 5G Ultra Wideband. Then we gave it massive capacity and near zero lag. And it's not just fast, it's 25 times faster than today's 4G networks. This is 5G built right from the network more people rely on, only on Verizon. 5G Ultra Wideband available only in parts of select cities. Global claim based on open signal independent analysis. 25 times analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q2 2020.
Patriot Place is the region's #1 shopping, dining, and entertainment destination. Shop your favorites, including Vineyard Vines, Express, Olympia Sports, Petco, and more. Enjoy dining at one of our 19 restaurants, including Six String Grill and Stage, Scorpion Bar, and Bar Louie. And don't forget about the entertainment. Explore your inner artist at Muse Paint Bar, watch a movie at Showcase Cinema Deluxe, or grab a controller and start gaming at Helix Esports. For a complete directory listing, please visit patriot-place.com.
The ruling on the field stands.
We deliver jerseys, funny foam fingers, and everything you need for the game. But what you really get is so much more.
FedEx Delivery.
Game day spirit. What we deliver by delivering.
Some people are never content with simply being good. Not when they can be great. But it takes a big step to get there. In fact, it takes a leap of faith, a belief in what you're striving toward, and a willingness to make the commitment, day in and day out, to something bigger than yourself. Putnam is proud to partner with those who share their own commitment to performance excellence. This is Matt Light for Putnam Investments, a world of investing.
We are Patriots, and our standards are a little different. We don't just carry the hopes of a city, but the hopes of an entire region. For us, no uphill battle is ever too high to climb. And our favorite ring is the next one. Our job isn't done until the final down is played. And everyone knows we gave it our all. We the fans march forward with the power to do what it takes. Just like we've done time and time again. We are the home field advantage. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank of the New England Patriots and stand with them as they defy the odds. Copyright 2020 Bank of America Corporation.
Want to get into the game? Get coached up at Dean College. Equipped with exclusive academic partnerships featuring the Patriots, Revolution, Providence Bruins, summer baseball, and more, our classrooms are set up for success by learning directly from the pros. Dean College has programs in communications, sports management, business, and marketing with unprecedented hands-on experiences. Our students take what they learn in the classroom and put it right to work in the marketplace. At Dean College, our students don't just play games, we run them. Visit us at dean.edu.
There's no season better than football season. And there's no better place to get in on all of the action than with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy sports partner of the New England Patriots. To add to the thrill, DraftKings has millions of dollars in prizes up for grabs every week. So head to the app now and check it out. If you haven't tried it yet, fantasy football is easy to play. Just pick 9 players, stay under the salary cap, and pile up points for yards, touchdowns, receptions, and so much more. There's no better way to put your football knowledge to the test than to compete for a shot at $1 million in total prizes. Download the DraftKings app now and use promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week. That's promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week, only at DraftKings. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
How did Verizon build the fastest 5G in the world? We started by building it right with 5G ultra wideband. Then we gave it massive capacity and near zero lag. And it's not just fast, it's 25 times faster than today's 4G networks. This is 5G built right from the network more people rely on, only on Verizon. 5G ultra wideband available only in parts of select cities. Global claim based on open signal independent analysis. 25 times analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q2 2020.
Patriot Place is the region's #1 shopping, dining, and entertainment destination. Shop your favorites, including Vineyard Vines, Express, Olympia Sports, Petco, and more. Enjoy dining at one of our 19 restaurants, including Six String Grill and Stage, Scorpion Bar, and Bar Louie. And don't forget about the entertainment. Explore your inner artist at Muse Paint Bar. Watch a movie at Showcase Cinema Deluxe, or grab a controller and start gaming at Helix Esports. For a complete directory listing, please visit patriot-place.com.
The ruling on the field stands.
We deliver jerseys, funny foam fingers, and everything you need for the game. But what you really get is so much more.
FedEx Delivery.
Game day spirit. What we deliver by delivering.
Some people are never content with simply being good. Not when they can be great. But it takes a big step to get there. In fact, it takes a leap of faith, a belief in what you're striving toward, and a willingness to make the commitment, day in and day out, to something bigger than yourself. Putnam is proud to partner with those who share their own commitment to performance excellence. This is Matt Light for Putnam Investments, a world of investing.
And now, great moments in history.
While we're at it, have you guys heard the term yeet?
Did you say ute?
Yeet. Spell it. I don't know. Oh. My son said it last night, and it's apparently a very common term now. It's basically like throwing up for grabs. You yeet something, you yeeted it. He said, "Oh, I yeeted that one," and I said, "Excuse me, what language are you even speaking?"
Never heard it in my life.
Well, but I just assume it's one of those things that probably started on Instagram, and all of a sudden,
Right.
you know, like.
And I would assume that my
I might
kids would
tweet
be,
about it.
Involved in that kind of
I might
nonsense.
tweet something and say I yeeted it.
See what the kids do.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
But you don't know how to spell it.
I would assume Y-E-E-T, but I don't know.
I
Could
thought
be
it was
Y-E-A-T.
Jeet yet? No, Jew.
Yeah.
Yeet, yeet.
Yeet. That's another great moment from
All right, we're back. Bridgestone is the official tire of the New England Patriots and a proud partner with Sullivan Tire, New England's headquarters for quality Bridgestone tires. Visit sullivantire.com to find a location near you. You see what I did there? We started with Bridgestone, but it threw a curveball, and we ended up with Sullivan Tire. So really, is it a commercial for Sullivan Tire or Bridgestone, Matt?
It was told Bridgestone?
Well, okay, but so Sullivan Tire snuck themselves in there, and they got the
They got
.com.
some, too.
So go to sullivantire.com and buy Bridgestone tires.
Yeah.
By the way, you got to bring your car in
Now.
to get the tires put on, but
Oh,
you can buy them online.
Speaking of
You got to
cars,
get some of those.
I have Firestones. I thought those were supposed to be good.
No.
Well,
Really?
Bridgestone.
I guess
Bridgestone.
so.
Wrong stone.
Upgrade.
Bridge. Fire. No.
So I got my inspection yesterday.
You got through?
Wait, how
Did
late
you?
were you?
It's like
That's
2
what
months.
that's what Paul
That's not
calls
even bad.
his annual physical.
shady, the shady gas station where
Oh,
they're like,
took care of me.
Yeah, come on in.
So, Kimmy, guy even offered me a slice of pizza. I was like, no, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah, oil all over it.
No,
Was
I
the
just
check
because
engine
I
light
got
on
out
or
of
off?
Felger Maz yesterday, and
Yeah.
my engine light was off. Probably the first
Good time. Good time to strike.
First time in at least 3 weeks. So I said to myself,
Paul treats his car like his body.
I'm trying. No, 'cause I know what the light's on for.
I know.
The light's on for the catalytic converter.
That's what mine was just on too.
So it's not. It doesn't affect you driving, but it is a concern about passing inspection. So the light was off when I got out of Felger Maz. I said, I'm going right.
Now's
to
a
the
good time.
I'm going right to the gas station before it comes back on.
So you passed. Flying colors.
Did passed.
There you go.
It was up in, and I think starting in November. So my inspection expired in July.
Yeah.
So obviously we're end of September here.
Oof, you've been.
I think in November there's a new law that if you do that, when you go in, they still give you. So if I went in,
Oh, you
they
lose
give
months.
you back to
Right.
July.
they go
Yeah.
back to July.
Right.
Whereas I beat the system. I got
Well,
like
for a while with
14-month
the
inspection.
COVID, they were really lax on that. Like even
Yeah,
if
they gave you some time.
Yeah, they were like not even stopping anybody anymore for outdated.
Yeah, my
stickers.
brother-in-law says they almost would never stop you for that.
I've been stopped for that.
But if you get stopped, you're going to get nailed for it
Okay.
every time. Like they said that like you'll never get away with it if you get pulled over for anything.
I got pulled over once. Luckily, it was in my town, so they let me go. But I was driving. It was like a construction area, so there was a cop on detail, and he pulled me over. And he's
For that?
Yeah, for that.
And you got pulled over for it too, Alex?
Yeah.
Well, I was really lucky.
I got a written warning.
I was really lucky.
No ticket.
Yeah.
But when I went to get the inspection, they said that the license plate was kind of peeling a little bit, and like when they put the camera on it, it wasn't registering. So
Yeah.
I needed to get a new license plate, which takes like 2 months.
Yeah.
So it came in. Yeah, I finally got the license plate last week. I put it on. My engine light was still on, so I was like,
gold.
better hold off.
It makes me want to move to Rhode Island because they only do it every 2 years.
Stop it.
This is great, but Evan's here, and he just came back from practice, and I know he's got to hurry because he's going to Wilfork after this, right?
I am, yes.
Yeah.
Nice jacket fitting.
Yeah.
Big Vince.
Yeah.
It's a big jacket.
So, Evan, what's going on out there?
Well, today at practice, we saw Jacoby Myers and Kyle Duggar. They were going through stretching. For Kyle Duggar, I would say, look, we were in there just for stretching, so I don't want to overreact to it, but he was stretching with the rest of his teammates, whereas yesterday he was stretching off to the side. So maybe a little bit of a positive step for him. Jacoby Myers, same routine as he had yesterday. The only player missing from the 53 was Raekwon McMillan, who also wasn't there yesterday, then turned out to be limited on the official report. So we'll see what happens. But we all know that not having Jacoby on Sunday would be huge, but not having Kyle Duggar for this particular matchup is also a really big deal. Going back to that 2020 game, covering Mark Andrews, containing Lamar Jackson, he was a centerpiece of that game plan 2 years ago against the Ravens. So not having him out there would be massive.
Yeah.
We agree.
How was the mood out there? I know it was raining a little.
It's raining.
Right?
You know how everybody gets when it rains.
Rain's not a mood.
Juwan Bentley told us to put our umbrellas away. He was disappointed in the media that we were being babies with umbrellas as they were all out there practicing in the rain. So he said, hey, enough with the umbrellas.
Some of us have to do our own laundry, Juwan. They can't just go in there and throw it in the pile and it gets washed for you.
Smaller media contingency because it's not Mac today, or?
I would say it was definitely smaller. There are a lot of people going to greet Vince here in a couple minutes, so maybe a little bit in between the two.
Yeah.
Usually when it rains, it's like, forget it. It's like us beat writers and nobody else is out there, sucking it up in the rain. But today, a little bit bigger of a crowd, I think, because of Vince.
Okay. And any grousing going on?
I mean, it was raining, so, it was...
Any comments on the Celtics coaching situation?
Yeah.
Plenty that I'm going to stay away from, but plenty.
We gave Alex went off on that in the early one.
Yeah.
I would imagine. All right, Evan, thank you very much.
No problem.
You're relieved of your duties. You can go check out the jacket fitting. Of course, Vince going into the Patriots Hall of Fame this weekend here at Patriot Place. What time does that start?
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock, open to all.
Open to all.
Anyone can come and watch that. It's always a cool sight seeing people fill the stairs at Patriot Place down by the hall. So that'll be 4 o'clock on Saturday.
Should be a good crowd. I feel like Vince is one of the beloved old Patriots.
Yeah.
We haven't had one in a while, right?
No. Well, we did. We 2 years ago,
Seymour?
Tracy Sermani and Seymour, right?
Yeah, last year.
Last year? Yeah.
They did have a ceremony? I thought they didn't.
No, I was there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So
bad.
this should be good. And then, of course, at halftime during the game, they'll be honoring Vince. They're honoring Vince as well for the people who come to the game. So, big Vince Wilfork weekend here at Patriot Place.
Oh, memories, huh? Big Vince.
Yeah.
Love.
What stands out?
I think the iconic Ravens game, of course, that that AFC Championship game. But I think that was a game that showed just how good he was. And for somebody like me who really loves defense and loved early on studying it and kind of figure out what they were doing, for him to go from like just kind of being a nose tackle and in the middle of those guys to being like a movable piece along the defensive line where they just started putting him everywhere. And he was able to not the longest guy. I mean, he's built like a nose tackle, but I just think I'm hoping to talk to some of the guys today just to hear some of the current Patriots kind of put his style, his body type playing in this role, like what was different about him in perspective. But I think just tearing his Achilles in 2013, but then I thought that might be it for him. That's a major injury, especially for a guy that's that big. But he came back and really played well in 2014 and won that Super Bowl with them, which I thought was just a great way to go out for him.
What stood out for you,
Vince
Paul?
is on the phone right now
Yeah.
on the Sports Hub.
Yeah.
It's a very obscure play, and we're going to get a chance just to give a little plug here. Matt Smith and I are going to hopefully get Vince this afternoon for a podcast, for a Pats from the Past podcast, which if we do get it today, that will be up probably within a week, I would say. One of the plays that I wanted to ask him about is a little obscure. It's from the 2009 game in Denver.
Oh, yeah, when he went all the way to the sideline?
Yeah, there was a screen pass that he diagnosed, and you just don't necessarily see nose tackles being instrumental in stopping a screen pass. And It was the game in Denver. Josh McDaniels got under the skin of Fred Kirsch after the game. But I believe the Patriots fumbled, and the Broncos took over in overtime at like the 40-yard line. And they didn't get into field goal range. And they didn't get into field goal range largely because of back-to-back plays that Vince made in that game. And I wanted to see if he remembered it. He probably won't, but those are the kinds of things that stuck out to me. Just seeing, I know a lot of people look at like him deflecting a pass and picking it off against the Chargers, I think. He was just so athletic for a guy that size.
Yep.
And
one of the bridge players that kind of connected the first dynasty to the second 3 Super Bowls. And one of the few guys that kind of had a hand in both of those pieces of it.
Yeah. He made fun of me. Did I ever tell you? We were on the road, and we're in the hotel. So I get on the hotel, and I get off the elevator I go down the hallway, and I realize, oh, man, I'm on the wrong floor. I had the wrong floor. So I go back to the elevator, call for it, opens up. Vince is in the elevator. So I get on, and I press the button for 1 floor because and he's like, you're taking the elevator for 1 floor? I'm like, I got off on the wrong floor. He goes, oh, wait till I tell everybody. So I was like, do you think really people care that I use the elevator for 1 floor?
Especially for a guy who weighs like 340. I mean,
right. No, he's making fun of me.
Like, would you take the stairs, Vince?
I deserved it, though, But
a little ribbing.
But you ever take those stairs in hotels? You never know if the door that you're going through is going to be unlocked and all that. So.
It wasn't a hotel, but when I was living in LA, I went to like a movie screening. Like somebody trying to get people to come see their indie movie, and so they had done this whole thing at a small theater, and the movie was terrible. I mean, just I'm alone. It's part of my job. You got to go to these kind of things. And so they're like, okay, afterwards we're going to have a reception, we'll have a Q&A. And it was going to drag on. And I'm like, screw this. I'm getting out of here. So they have one of the exits at the front of the building. So I'm like, I'm out. Go to the door, get through that door. There's one exit door. And it's like, I think it's alarmed, but I'm like, screw it. Whoop, set off the alarm in the whole place. I just started running. I didn't want to deal with any of that stuff. I'm like, oh man, I hope I didn't just ruin their whole Q&A. That they're like, funny. Somebody had to get away from our movie. But that's what you're afraid of. Some of those doors you get, like,
right.
You're like, if I go through this door, am I going to set off an alarm or something?
And like the back hallways of hotels are like a maze. I mean, you can really get lost.
Well, I mean, just in Vegas, I think I told you guys, I went into the wrong hotel and went all the way up to my room before I realized I was in the wrong hotel in Vegas. God. It was like they were literally they were cleaning the room, and I'm like, this isn't my room. Like, what am I doing? But yeah, it's not good.
The naked guy on the bed didn't tee you off.
I was like, well, maybe it is my room actually.
Oh, whoa.
All right, 855-PATS-500 is the Ace Ticket hotline. 855-PATS-500. So Evan was here. We got the practice update. Alex has also left. She's going to Wilfork as well.
Yep.
We need
2-3
people.
The big
to
man.
see him put his jacket on.
Well, I think there's some.
We need
some logistical stuff.
I'm only
kidding. Seriously though, like, people like to know behind the scenes. Yeah. There's stuff that we have to set up for.
Yeah.
Microphones, and you had a conversation with another member of the stat. Chris Gogolos was in here talking about some of the stuff behind the scenes.
Yeah,
making sure it's shot properly, and
it's not. I mean, it's not all sunshine and rainbows.
Just like,
you got to see.
You don't just roll out of bed and get all the stuff done.
Right. This stuff just doesn't happen.
You have an empire that you're in charge of.
This stuff doesn't happen. There's a lot of work behind the scenes to make this look good.
Right. We got to get the weather machine ready for the Ravens this weekend.
Sure.
Do you think that's a sign that Bill is maybe losing it a little bit? The fact that it's raining so hard today and not Sunday.
Maybe Ernie's just getting it warmed up today.
Maybe Bill's slipping a little bit.
Yeah, it could be.
I think it's a dry run today on the
Fred's looking at me like I'm asking him a serious question.
No, I'm watching this thing on TV. This guy's getting whipped on TV. It's terrible.
Oh, whip.
It's like torture.
The whip? What?
Yeah, some
licorice whip?
Yeah.
Orange whip?
Like whipped cream.
Anthony in Delaware, have to say, having Big Head on the show was great.
It was.
You guys picked up right where y'all left off. It's like he never left. Wish he'd do a show where people are listening. I've tried, but that guy, not Fitzy, is Eric times 10 with an annoying voice. Who does he do his show with?
Shime?
Fitzy.
Or somebody else?
No, he said
there's a third guy.
I know,
other than Fitzy.
But generally, when he's on, it's Fitzy.
Yeah, there must be maybe the podcast. Who does he do the podcast with?
Was it
Fitzy?
The Shime
he
guy?
does?
Shime guy?
Yeah, no, there might be another guy on there too, but
I think Chris Shime was added to their podcast.
To the podcast, but when he's on the radio, it's him and Fitzy.
Yeah.
I hear them on the weekends all the time.
Yeah,
I
with
heard
Deuce.
Deuce on.
That's right.
He's a regular guest.
I am a regular guest.
He is.
So my guys. 2 o'clock in the middle of a Saturday. What else are you doing? You
I
wanna
hear
go on the
Deuce's
radio?
voice.
I don't know. I can think of a few things.
As Andy said yesterday, I hear Deuce's voice, and I go, click. I already know what he's going to say.
Anyway, wanted to talk about Mac. Not an all-22 guy, but I think I know the game well. To me, it seems like Mac is doing too much thinking in the pocket. Late on throws, inaccurate at times, and just some weird times to throw deep downfield. Don't get me wrong, I like him being aggressive, but some of his deep shots come in odd downs and times. As a cerebral quarterback, he's got to use that to his advantage as much as possible. Just not there right now. Probably a mix of the system / coaches / confidence in him, but he still doesn't get a pass. I never fell in love with Mac coming out of college. I always thought he was just average / fine. That's fine with me as a third-round pick, not as the 15th overall. Okay.
Well, if you wanted him, then he wasn't going to be available in the third round.
Right.
I mean, I know I'm kind of more with the emailer here, but you have to sort of look at the other way too. I mean, if you want the guy, there's no way he was going to be available in the third round.
Yep.
No, I mean, look at the quarterbacks this year too. I mean, I think that was one of the big debates, or any of those guys. But if you want him, like Pittsburgh was picking a first rounder, maybe, but they had to go get him.
Joaquin from Santa Rosa, California. Hope you're doing well. I had a couple questions. One, what would be key factors for the Patriots to beat the Ravens, specifically on defense? That's his first question.
Limit big plays.
Yeah.
That's where I start.
Don't make mistakes. Communication. Play good
I think
team.
that's a good one.
Good team, sound defense. Tackle well. All that stuff. Take good angles.
Yeah, just make them work down the field, and I think that's a theme against a lot of teams this year is going to be limiting the big plays, and that's where it starts for me.
Second question, could this be a game where you could see Hunter Henry and Devontae Parker more involved with receptions and making big plays? As always, keep the amazing work. Patriots Unfiltered will forever be the best podcast and best source of providing us Patriots fans with the best Patriots content. Well, thank you.
That's right.
We are the world's original podcast.
We are
OG.
the world.
We are the children. I like Hunter Henry. I mean, Paul brought it up, and that was the same way I was thinking. Trying to get him matched up with some of their linebackers, maybe. I don't know. It's interesting because I feel like in the past the Patriots were so able to offensively dictate matchups because they could go heavy, and they could, and then the team would kind of correspond with their base defense, and then you might be able to flex out your tight end and get them lined up on a linebacker. I just don't know if they have that capability as much anymore because they're only really running one or two personnel groupings. So I'm not sure exactly schematically how they would get Hunter Henry freed up, but I like him. I don't think it's been. I don't think all of a sudden he's bad, and he's fallen off a cliff. I just think it's kind of been a thing of circumstance for these first two games, at least for him. With Jonnu, it's kind of more of the same, and I'm not quite as still thinking that's going to turn around.
Bill in D.C., haven't written in a while, just needed a break from all the gloom and doom. All the talk this summer was about what a mess the play calling was going to be under Patricia and Judge. You folks obviously know a lot more than I do, but to my eye, I haven't really noticed too many glaring instances where I said, wow, that's a terrible call.
Can you imagine if they scored 50 points, how people would be blaring people?
Oh, yeah.
They haven't scored in 2 games, and people are still blaring the media for making fun of the operation.
It's not glaring that, it's bad play calling.
It's glaring that they can't move the ball and score.
Is that because of the play calling or the execution?
I couldn't tell you, Fred.
All right.
I could not tell you.
All right.
But I'll tell you this. We'll repeat all of the things that Mike said in the first hour. They're last in the league in motion. They're last in the league in play-action passes. Why is that? Is that coaching? Or does Max say, no, don't put Jacoby Myers in motion? Or is it the offensive coaching staff that are doing it that way?
We're building.
And they're not moving the ball and scoring.
It's a process, Paul.
Right.
It's a process.
And like I said, if they had been scoring a lot of points in the first 2 games, can you imagine the beating the media would be taking?
But honestly, if you looked at the games and said, boy, the play calling here is terrible.
No.
I think more so than normal, yes.
Really?
Like the deep ball to Jonnu Smith on 3rd and 2 the other day. Yeah. Now, I'm not blaming Matt Patricia because I don't think that Mac Jones has played all that well. I think that's why you're struggling, but you can't possibly look at the way this is set up and think it's going well.
It's a progress. It's baby
I
steps.
didn't ask you what's going to happen in 20 games from now. I'm asking you right now. Do you think it's going well?
I think right now they're not going to be where they need. They're not where they need to be, but they're going.
Is
they're
it
working
going
towards
well?
getting there.
Is it going well? I'm not asking you how you think it's going to unfold. Is it going well right now?
It's going okay.
They've scored 24 points in 2 games.
Yeah, you want more production.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all.
But I'm not blaming the play call.
You can blame whatever you want. I'm not telling you who you have
All
to
right.
blame.
Okay.
That's all.
There's still the head-scratching run on 2nd and 10, but that was there under Josh. And there haven't been any trick plays, but aside from that, it seems like Patricia is doing a pretty decent job. But you guys follow it a lot closer than I do. I'd like to get your take on the play calling. Is it better or worse than you expected? Paul, is it better or worse than you expected?
It's exactly what I expected. I thought they have a very average offense, and they've been, I guess, slightly worse.
Okay.
Below average.
The play calling is worse.
I count it all, Fred. I
know,
don't
but he's
eliminate
asking
this part.
specifically about the play
Yeah, I
calling.
think that they've called a lot of plays that I don't agree with.
Okay.
But to the emailer's point, I'm going to defend the emailer here a little bit. Josh called a lot of plays I didn't agree with.
Right.
The only difference was Josh scored.
Yeah.
They haven't been.
Kevin?
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I think if you had told me like a month ago, they're going to be last in the league and all these metrics that we're talking about, I'd be like, ooh, really? That sounds bad.
Forget about like EPA and all these other Environmental Protection Agency stats that everybody loves. They're like last in points. Like there's like one team I think that has scored less than 1 or 2 teams. Like that's all I care about. Yeah. And again, they were in the red zone once against Miami. They were in the red zone twice against Pittsburgh. And one of those times they took over possession in the red zone.
Does Pittsburgh
so they're
have
not
a good
getting
defense?
to the red zone.
It's better when
Pittsburgh's
it's
defense
TJ
is
Watt,
fine.
but they're okay. Yeah.
They did pretty well against Joe Burrow the week before, right?
Well, Joe Burrow scored more points than you did.
No, but didn't they have like 5 turnovers against them?
And they still scored more points than you did.
Yeah. But that's a pretty – I mean, I would say that the Cincinnati offense
really?
is better than the Patriots offense.
Everybody else would say they're struggling like crazy right now, and they've been sacked 13 times in 2 games.
Yeah.
So when they played Pittsburgh's defense, they did better than when they played Dallas's defense.
Well, those are both pretty good defenses.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Is Dallas a good defense?
It's supposed to be. Micah Parsons, isn't he
Micah
pretty good?
Parsons is a good player, yes.
Yeah.
And you also didn't face Pittsburgh's defense that Cincinnati faced.
Okay.
Because T.J. Watt didn't play in the game.
True. Yeah. That's very true.
And do you think Miami's defense is very good?
Well, Cincinnati didn't play Miami.
No, but do you think Miami's defense is really good?
I
And
don't
that's
know.
why they didn't score against Miami, because then the next week they gave up 38.
Yeah. Well, it's the first game. We're starting from
Right.
scratch here. We're starting from scratch.
Again, I'm not like making blanket observations here. I'm just telling you, through 2 games, they haven't scored.
Okay.
So you want to say that it's not the fault of the play calling? Okay, you might be right.
I don't see it.
It might just be Mac Jones. I don't know what the play calls are, so I don't know how you can say that.
Yeah, I see. You know what the play call. You see him.
I don't know. All I know is that they called a pass or a run.
Right.
I don't know what the play call is.
You don't know how much of it is Mac's decision.
Like I don't know why Mac didn't throw the ball to Jacoby Myers on that play.
Right.
Maybe Matt Patricia said, "This is going to be there down there. We're going to take a shot. We're setting this up to Jonnu Smith." This is why I don't get on Mac Jones for missing a wide open guy. Yeah. And Evan talked about this again yesterday when we talked about it earlier. Sometimes the play call is something that you got to get it and you got to get it out. You're not the play's not designed to go through 3 or 4 different progressions. Like sometimes there can be a guy open on one side that you're never going to see because
you're
not supposed to see.
You're not looking there.
And that's why I think the still shots on Twitter are so misleading.
Very
sometimes.
deceiving.
It can be tough. I mean, the LJ one, Mac didn't see him. I mean, it's just you could see the massive humanity right in front of Mac, and so. But those are the things that you don't really take into account when you get the screenshot and you just look and it's like, oh my gosh,
it's wide open.
But I don't know, Fred. You could be 100% right. This could have nothing to do with the play calling. This could have everything to do with a lack of execution. The plays are there and they're missing them.
Yeah.
Kevin in Dublin, based on what the rest of the AFC East has done so far this year, particularly the Dolphins and the New Jersey Jets, how has this impacted your assessment of the Patriots' chances to get to the playoffs?
It hasn't.
What is it, Miami?
Miami and the Jets.
Miami and the Jets.
I mean, we know Buffalo's going to.
Yeah, I mean,
they're in a league of their own.
I thought that they were going to be in a battle with Miami for second place, and I still think that.
Yeah. Yeah, I was impressed what they did last week. I mean, I wonder with Miami if they have more threats than the 2, and if there are teams that will get a bead on Hill and Waddle and be able to slow them down a little bit. But right now it feels like the Patriots last year. I mean, they were the second place team in the AFC East, but I put Miami a little bit ahead of them. I mean, the Patriots have to improve, I think, to really be the second place team.
Well, I mean,
in the
that
AFC
showed me
East.
something. I mean, maybe Baltimore's defense just totally collapsed in that fourth quarter, but to come back like that,
Yeah,
I mean,
agree.
that showed me something.
I agree. Breakdowns or no breakdowns, they still scored 28 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
But
especially with all the Tua talk of Tua, and no one would have thought Tua was capable of that.
it's some of the
before
throws that he
game.
made. It wasn't just throwing bombs to wide open guys. He made some, the game-winning touchdown to Waddle was not an easy throw.
Yeah.
But there's other things too. I don't know what's going to happen with Miami. They've really gotten manhandled by Buffalo, and now they play this week. And I'm not saying they have to win the game to show that they're any good, but you can't go out and lose 48 to 10 like you have been to Buffalo in the recent past. They have to, they're at home. They should play a good game, and they should score some points.
They should, and that's what's interesting to me is how at this point you're just looking at Buffalo. I feel like the rest of the league was looking at the 07 Patriots when they were starting out of who can find something? Who can find something? Maybe Hill and Waddle have speed that can kind of expose some of that Buffalo defense, but it's hard to see them holding Josh Allen under 35 points, right? That Buffalo that Miami defense, meh.
Let's get to the Ace Ticket Hotline, 855-PATS-500. John's in Duxbury. Hey, John.
Hi, gentlemen. How are you?
What's up, John?
I don't know. Is Tamara still there?
No.
She was not here today.
It's Nia Long. Her name is Nia.
Okay.
Nia.
That's Alex. I will tell her.
Just so you know. Okay. A couple of points I want to make. Number one, and this is basically for Mike and to Paul, I haven't seen Bledsoe enough, Josh Bledsoe.
Oh.
Can he play free safety, or is he more in the box guy?
More in the box guy.
I agree with Mike.
Yeah. They got to find somebody for McCourty because I think McCourty is all done. You can stick a fork in him.
Yeah, I think they're putting Phillips a little bit more on the back end. I don't know what's going to happen going forward with McCourty, but
I certainly think
they
this
got
is
some guys.
Devin's last year. But I haven't really noticed him. I haven't seen any. Teams haven't even taken any shots down the field.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Which to me tells me that he's probably been where he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And here's another point I want to make to you guys. If Bill is afraid to elevate Cayley to a position of importance on the offense, why did he prevent them from going to the Raiders?
It's a good question. I don't have the answer. It is a good question.
Yeah. This makes no sense. He said, well, he, what I heard was he said he's afraid of elevating him because he thought he might lose him. Well, doesn't that tell you the two guys he hired that nobody wants those two guys?
Yep. I think it's a fair question. I don't have the answer. I don't know why.
He loves him, but he's not in love with him.
One other thing before I go, I was encouraged by Jabril Peppers. Those are two excellent plays he made. I believe it was the third quarter and second and third down where he stoned both those guys.
Nice looking tackles.
Yeah.
Yep. Good plays.
Yep. He looked good. All right. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John. Yeah.
Thanks, John.
Deuce is big Jabril Peppers fan.
I am.
Yeah.
I am. I liked what Bill said about him yesterday, and that was my take, was that they're still getting a feel for him. He's still getting a feel for the defense. They don't know exactly what he can do, but I think this Duggar injury might be the kind of thing that could really, open the door for him to, play more significant snaps, probably next to Mac Wilson in some of their base packages.
Sil in Seattle writes in, caller mentioned why people are jumping all over Mac Jones, and I feel that Mac Jones doesn't get enough credit for his part in the struggles of the offense. Nationally, the narrative is that he's a victim of the offensive coaching. I don't see it that way. I wasn't one of the people that were crowning Mac last year. I thought he was mediocre then as much as I do now. Even during the week of this draft, I wrote in saying that drafting him would be the wrong thing to do. Mac is an NFL backup at best, and we will probably be stuck with him for the 5-year stretch because of him being a first-rounder. This guy will only work on a team that will put top-end talent around him across the board, and Bill generally doesn't go for top-end talent in free agency or the draft. But even then, Mac is so limited, we could put an all-Madden team around him, and he wouldn't be able to throw the ball in Buffalo after October.
Oh, come on.
Wow, Sil is really down on him.
Yeah, the last part might not be wrong. But
if you feel that bad, you really think he's getting a 5 years? I don't know if he's getting a 4.
I think he'll get 4.
And then
I think he'll get 4 for different reasons. But Yeah, I mean, I suppose it depends on how you look at it. Some people that are on that side feel like he's been given a pass. And the people that are defensive of Mac feel like there's been too much of that criticism of Mac.
Both are true.
And both are probably true. Yeah, there's probably been a little too much. I'm with Fred, what you said earlier in the show about the sample size. I'm not ready to make these blanket assessments based on 2 games. I don't think he's been great, but that doesn't mean I don't think he can be better going forward.
Craig is in Charlotte. With the run-heavy offense the Ravens have traditionally brought and the threat Mark Andrews presents, what kind of personnel do you see the Patriots using? Do you expect heavier linebackers to stop the run or lighter linebackers to contain Lamar? Is this a big game for our safeties? And how big of a deal is it if Duggar can't go?
Yeah, I think it's a big deal. I think
Duggar's a concern. He's one of the better tacklers back there.
If you had to choose between heavier or lighter, what would you choose?
Lighter.
Me too. I mean, I think like I just said, I think Kyle Duggar and Peppers as your kind of like inside linebackers, and you can use, they've been putting Bentley on the edge. So, maybe you put Bentley on the edge a little bit. You obviously, like Paul said, you got Judon. Dietrich Wise is a little bit more of a hand-down defensive end. He can play the other side. But I just think it's about that second level. If you can get those, those kind of Duggar, Mac Wilson, got some speed on the second level to, chase Lamar around. That's probably the best. But I don't know how fast Peppers is. He's always been kind of a linebacker type safety. So, where does his speed rank? I'm not sure I'd put it up there with what Duggar can do and the experience Duggar's had. So it does feel like this is a bummer that Duggar can't go, like as Evan was saying, that he's really ideally suited for this kind of game.
He'll play. I think that the only team that I could even think of that I would opt for the heavier defensive personnel is Tennessee.
Yeah.
Like if you're
going to Tavai and Bentley.
If you're going to see 25 or 30 carries from Derrick Henry, you better have some big boys out there to combat that. Even maybe more Carl Davis in a game like that too.
But Buffalo's really good. But I get the way they went after Henry. Shooting for his legs.
Yes.
And not all big guys, small guys just shooting for his legs.
I noticed that, Fred.
Good
observation.
Got it too.
You gave me a compliment earlier. I'm going to return the favor. Fred.
I mean,
that's a really good
They were
observation.
really effective.
Yeah.
Really effective.
They were short tackling, low tackling.
Yeah, don't let him get going. I mean, I don't believe it took people this long to realize you can't tackle that guy up around his shoulders.
Right.
But, Buffalo, they're tough. They're tough.
Travis is in Watertown, Connecticut. Listening to this week's shows, there's a lot of love for Jacoby Myers, and I feel like rightfully so. I can still picture one of his first catches as a rookie, went up for a ball, and as soon as he caught it, raised his hands up higher so the defender couldn't knock it out. I just thought it was a very smart play for someone who was still learning the position relative to other pros in the league. I'm hoping he could be retained moving forward because he's exactly the type of guy the Patriots should reward, someone who earned his spot through hard work and following the program.
Yeah. He's a guy that it wouldn't stun me if you heard that they extended him during the season.
Yep, totally.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he's going to break the bank.
Nope.
He's a guy that they should be able to retain if they want to retain him.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised. Now, the other part of that is like the whole Giardi thing. I'm not really sure about the plan.
The Giardi thing.
Maybe they don't like that. Maybe he doesn't like the fact that he feels that way.
Yeah. I think this is a good question too. Do you think there's any chance they make an effort to retain Nelson Aguilar?
I would doubt it.
Because, he played pretty good last week.
He did, but that's just 1 week.
And I also think he's a little older.
Yeah. I mean, he's not quite like a 1-for-1 with Thornton, but I just
his
feel
cap,
like
his cap hit right now is like $14.8 million, something like that.
Oh, yeah, and he's out.
You think it's going down?
Well, this is...
But,
right.
If you want to retain him, do you think he's going to take less to stay? You might take less if you're on the open market. You don't have any options.
Yeah, my concern is how do you upgrade on him? How does that happen? It's tough to go in with Thornton, Parker, and Myers.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Parker's not back either. But Tyquan Thornton's got to be a big part of what you're going to do next year. I can't imagine a scenario that they don't think of that he's got to be a big part.
Jack in Ann Arbor says that Jabril Peppers ran a 4.46 at the Combine.
All right, that's pretty good. Thank you for sharing that with me.
8 years ago?
Of course, Lamar Jackson runs like a 4.1 or something crazy like that. But that's
for a linebacker. That's pretty fast.
But
that was also how many years ago?
He was a safety.
2017,
Jabril
2016,
Peppers is a
somewhere
safety.
What did I say?
linebacker. There's a big difference.
But, he's a first-round pick. I mean,
he was a first-round safety, and I don't doubt that he ran well as a first-round safety, but that's a long time ago, and more ACLs ago, and like
back when he had his original ACLs.
No, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know, 100%.
I think he's a good athlete. I'm not suggesting that he can't run, but
I used to run a 4.46.
I don't really care what he ran.
It was a 10, not a 40, but
But that's pretty good for a 10.
Yeah.
You know,
for
a guy who doesn't take the stairs.
Lee's in Malvern. Who doesn't take the stairs?
You.
When?
You got off at one floor.
I'm going to need you to listen to yourself.
Wilfork, that thing. Well, that was there's a hotel. But when I come to work, I always take
you go
the
up
stairs.
to E3? Yeah,
I used to until you banished me to the basement.
You don't have
You don't
to
just
now.
walk up and
Now
then
I
walk
just
back
walk
down.
in.
How do you like your new digs?
It's fine. It's really cold down there. Can I tell you? And I'm never cold.
Is that right?
It's very cold
Because
in
of all the
that
equipment.
area. You think that's why?
They keep it cold. Yeah.
Is that why, Matt?
It is. Yeah.
Pump the AC in there.
I went down and visited Paul today. Had some things to share with him. I was excited.
Yeah. Mike, after ignoring me for the better part of 2 weeks,
I have to
He's been down a
readjust.
couple of times. You got to get it into your.
It used to be so easy. I get
into your
in, I
routine.
sit for a little bit, I get my
Well, I
things
know
done,
how it
and then,
works.
and
You
then Paul
always
comes
sat-
over, and
you always sat, and I came to
I gotta
you. Now-
reestablish. I got to reestablish.
Now we
got to
change it up.
You know, I saw something about Kendrick Bourne's explosiveness, and I was like, I got to go see Paul
And Mike
right
was
now.
Mike was triggered. Explosive.
I'm like, the guy that ran a 4.8 is explosive. All right.
Mike, he actually ran a 4.32 at the combine.
Lee's in Malvern, UK. I love your show, insight into the Patriots team. I think, like yourselves, I'm concerned that this year is going to be difficult if Mac isn't able to make the year 2 progression. I have 2 questions. If Mac had shown the same form as he did in this preseason, in his rookie year preseason, would you have started him over Cam or any of the other quarterbacks?
If you're asking me, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
But the better question would be, would that have been enough for Bill?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't think Bill is as worried about preseason performance as fans are. Let's put it that way.
I also think, like, to the point of the email, like, I'm really coming around on 9 wins. Like, I know they haven't looked great. I know they don't have any explosiveness, but it just feels like it's going to be just like last season, where they're going to get, you know, a nice little run of
Lamar
games
Jackson's
in the middle.
not playing Sunday.
Even if they drop this one and drop next week, I think they're going to be a 9-10 win. They're gonna get those few games they need. I don't know if they'll make the playoffs, but
so far they're
I'm
on, like,
feeling
you know,
more
like when you have a mental picture of the schedule. So far 1-1 is where I had it.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
O.C. Omenura on the NFL show over here.
O.C.
He listed what he thought were the worst 3 teams in the NFL this year. It was the Jets, Cowboys, and Patriots. I can't believe this. Do you have an opinion?
I don't think they're one of the worst 3 teams in the league.
Well, O.C. Omenura is a Giant, right? So he hates the Cowboys.
Right.
So
and he,
I could see him.
Well,
he was one of the wear black.
And plus with Dak out.
Yeah,
you know.
he's talking about with Dak out, and he's obviously talking about the Patriots' offense in the first 2 weeks. I don't think the Patriots are one of the worst 3 teams in football.
I don't either.
No.
Having missed 2 dynasties due to chasing girls' beer and not being married with kids, I feel like we are back where I started when I began my love for the Patriots, and they were often the second best team. Well, I wish we were just the second best team now.
Yeah, I think he means when he was watching the game, right?
Oh, I see. Yeah. I don't know exactly what he means.
I don't either.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, full disclosure, I'm speculating.
It's like Jaws. You kind of have to put your own thing into it. It's a little bit nebulous.
If I threw this piano wire, she go tell me about business again.
This was no boat accident.
Anything that drives me to Reddit.
Ray in St. Louis.
Did you notify the authorities?
I know there's been a lot of Mac Jones talk. He calls him Max. About how his the talks about how his reads are a little off and how he looks a little more confused compared to last year. Do you think this is because he was on a leash last year and was being told exactly what to do, but this year he has more freedom to make decisions, but he's just not seeing things? Could be.
Right, and that's another reason why I'm not willing to say everything has been great with the coaches.
No,
because these are all things that you and I cannot possibly know.
Well, the only thing I know is that there was
understand.
going to be a drop-off post Josh McDaniels. That's the only thing I know for sure, is that without that guy who, you know, and I don't want to say holding his hand because that, you know, sounds worse than it really was.
He
but
could
like,
have been,
knew everything, and
he could have been
right
far
there.
more instrumental in Mac's performance last year than we'll ever know. And right now, if he's not getting the same kind of attention, that could have a far bigger impact on his performance than we'll ever know.
Right. Let's see. Trent from Sylvan writes in my humble opinion, the play calling doesn't seem a lot different than last year's play calling, and it definitely isn't holding the offense back. Not that I'm wishing failure on him or hoping for his return, but if the over-under is 35 regular season games under McDaniels is back coaching the Patriots, would you take the over or under, or do you think he will ever come back?
I don't think he'll ever come back.
No.
I think it's
And
over.
I don't think he's going to be a short-term guy in the Las Vegas either.
Yeah.
Week 2. The shine is off McDaniels.
They lost 2 games, so now he's. I mean,
it's
I know
the same thing as
there
us.
was some funny. There was some funny tweets. I'm not picking on that was actual. I mean, I get it. So we can have him back by week 7. That's I get it. That's funny, but if you legitimately think he's going to be gone in a season, in 2 seasons.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he'd have to do something, Ime Udoka something.
I was just gonna say.
To be out of a job in 2 years,
or to be honest, his family's just we ain't living in Vegas.
Oh,
anymore.
okay. I mean, that's a different.
That was a conversation I had constantly, walking through Vegas with various people. Could you ever live here with your family? No.
But that's another thing, though. If it's that reason and he resigns, then he can't go to the Patriots.
No, and I
he'd
feel
be under contract. You'd have to work out some kind of arrangement.
Yeah, I think, and I
come here as an offensive advisor.
I would go somewhere else. If I was him, I feel like you've been
I don't think
here.
you can do that.
Couldn't even.
You're gonna
do
go
that.
back to the well a third time. I have a hard time seeing it.
Yeah.
I mean, you could make a trade, but I think the Raiders would still have him under contract. Is my point.
Could he come with Devontae Adams? Could we get
Probably
him in a
not.
deal? Damn it.
Would Bill want Devontae Adams?
He's too good.
Too good.
Brandon writes in, do you think when Thornton gets back that we'll have a poor man's Hill and Waddle duo with Aguilar and Thornton? I like our wide receiver room with them and Myers and Bourne. What are your thoughts on that?
It can't hurt. I don't know how exactly they're going to put together, but I think he's an intriguing player with the exact stuff that they need in terms of speed and even some size.
I just want to see him back.
Yeah, I would love to see him back and not see them sending him into the center of the line to be the lead blocker.
Well, and that's I know it's easy to say after the guy gets hurt, but you look at Tyreek Hill and you look at that guy and you think it's the same thing. He might be every bit as fast as Tyreek Hill, but he's half the size.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking height.
Yeah, it's the quickness. I mean, it's like a fire hydrant against the.
I don't want to say the foul thing, but the thickness. Tyreek Hill is stacked.
Yeah.
He can go over the middle, and I mean he's been hurt a lot too, but he can withstand some punishment over the middle. Tyquan Thornton, that's not an accident that he got hurt. He is little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's the. I mean, I think. I mean, everyone's going to jump down my throat about this, but he's a non-freak Randy Moss. That's the style of him. He's long speed. He's got a little bit of shimmy, but he's long and fast and tall. He's not that. He's not Randy Moss, but that's kind of the.
He isn't.
A little bit shorter,
man.
not as fast, but that's the style I think of what he could kind of bring to the offense.
I want to get him back and see if we can figure out how he can be implemented in the offense.
Like Evan said, if at first he's just running wind sprints, fine.
Just give him something to think about.
Give the defenses something to think about, Was there a question yesterday from practice who was wearing number 17?
Yes, that was Tristan Vizcaíno's back as the kicker.
Right. So the question that Juan has is Nick Folk on the hot seat?
I don't think so. But maybe he's dealing with something physically that we don't know about.
Yeah, they had Vizcaíno around all offseason, and so I don't know. I always think it's good insurance to have another kicker around or somebody in the wings. So, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, obviously Nick Folk.
Yeah, with 16 guys in the practice squad, why not? You don't need 16, potential backups. So put one over there. I don't think it matters.
Do you manage a kicker his legs, his reps, his number of kicks he does?
That could be too. Maybe you just want to get your kicking in practice, so you want someone else doing it. That could be too. Eyeball emojis.
You got the jugs machine too.
No, but I mean, if you
really
want to
don't
have live field goal at the end of practice or something like that, and you want someone actually kicking them, could be. Who knows?
Let's see. Dave in Bethlehem writes in: has the injury? This is off topic. Has the injury to Trey Lance lowered the contract value of mobile quarterbacks?
No.
It's. I think anytime you hear anybody talk about Josh Allen right now, it's oh my God, he's amazing, but he's going to get hurt sometime.
But let me just say, unequivocally, if Trey Lance had played for 2 years and been really good, do you think he'd be worth less?
No.
He's never played. That's why his value is down.
Yeah.
Because he's never played. Deshaun Watson just signed after missing a whole year for extraordinarily controversial reasons, $233 million guaranteed. How did his value get impacted by mobile quarterbacks?
Yeah.
All right.
Are we ready? I was kind of seeing how long you were going to go, Fred.
I forgot.
We got to stop.
I forgot.
We got to stop. It's time. It's that time of week. I know there's only 3 of us here, but we got to hurry. We really got to hurry.
I think 3 of us can do 20 minutes.
I was going to say, we really don't have to hurry.
We have to hurry.
We don't have to hurry.
What happened last week, Paul?
Last week, Fred Kirsch did a nice job of bouncing back after the most pathetic performance in the history of the contest. Fred went 11-5 to win the week, followed by Alex at 10-6, Mike at 9-7, and Paul 8-8.
Wow.
All right.
With the spread, Mike 9-7.
I thought so.
Good, Mike.
Alex 8-8. Paul and Fred 7-9.
Oh, that's not good.
So season standings are as follows. There's only 3 of us that have done both weeks. So it's Paul 18-13-1, Mike 15-16-1, Fred 13-18-1. With the spread, Paul 17-15, Mike 16-16, Fred 11-21.
I got some making up to do. I got some making up to do.
It's a process, you know.
Yeah. All right.
So I noticed in the Globe today, I always like to see how the experts, the true experts, the ones that write for the Globe, how they're doing with the spread as compared to us. And they only have them listed as having 31 games.
Attention to detail. No attention to detail there.
They only had 31 games. They don't, and only Ben Volen is over 500. He's like me. He's like, I think he was 17, 14, and 1, something like that.
Yeah.
Or
that'd
no,
be 32.
16, 14, and 1.
Yeah.
He was a game better than me, but they have a tie, which we didn't have any ties.
Oh.
And they're missing a game. So I don't know exactly. But he's the only one over 500.
That won't last. All right. We'll start tonight, 8:15 on Prime Video. The 1-1 Steelers are at the 1-1 Browns in Cleveland.
Cleveland by 4.5.
4.5. This is a tough one. I just don't know which team I like less. I'm gonna go with Cleveland to win at home, and I'm gonna take the points for Pittsburgh and assume it's a close, low-scoring struggle.
I'm going to take Cleveland both ways. I think they bounce back from that debacle. I still think Nick Chubb is taking far too much heat for scoring a touchdown to give him a 2-score lead in the last 2 minutes of the game. But
I'm going to go with the Browns, but not to cover. On the other hand, I got a feeling in Pittsburgh they're not going to be too worried if they don't win a lot of games this year. I'm not saying they're tanking.
No, they got to get Kenny Pickett in there if they're going to do that.
This is like the prologue. This season's going to be like, oh, Kenny Pickett came in, and we're kind of spinning our wheels right now.
I understand sticking with Trubisky because you think that he gives you a better chance to win games now. I think he probably does. But if you think like Fred's talking, you got to change. Yeah. You got to get him some experience and not worry about the results.
I think the end of the season will be exciting for them. They'll feel like they found something with Pickett. He'll play okay.
Okay.
And yeah.
All right. So I'm going to take Browns to win and not cover.
And I will try to get Alex's picks off air.
Sunday at 1, the 1-1 Saints are at the 0-2 Panthers.
New Orleans by 3. Just to let you guys know, a lot of home dogs this week.
Okay.
Lots. 9.
A lot of home dogs.
9 home dogs.
It's New Orleans by 3. Jameis Winston, Carolina. I'm going to take New Orleans on the road, and I will lay the points too against Carolina.
Yeah, I'm going to do that too. I don't know. I think New Orleans is in trouble with the quarterback situation. He's banged up bad. 4 broken bones in his back. Can't do any more damage though. So says the medical.
Can't get more broken.
I'll take New Orleans, but I don't feel great about it.
I'm going to go with the Panthers from the upset to win this game. Sunday at 1, the 0-1-1 Texans are at the 1-1 Bears.
Chicago by 2.5.
All right, so what do we got? Davis Mills.
Yeah,
Justin
two rookie
Fields,
two second
year guys. Buddy Rex Burkhead back in the picture there with Houston. Good for him. Man, this is a tough one again. But I'm gonna go with the Texans.
Gotta hurry.
Yeah, sorry. Put me down for the Texans.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Texans too. Chicago, they're so afraid of their offensive line, they won't even let Justin Fields throw the ball.
Yeah. Boy, you talk about people being down on Mac Jones. Whew, people are down on Justin Fields.
Oh, I haven't seen that at all.
Oh, no?
No.
Oof.
He doesn't throw. He's attempted like 20 passes.
Yeah, and people are saying he stinks. That's
no,
why.
it's because of the offensive line. They're afraid.
I'm just saying what I heard.
I'm just telling you what I've heard.
Telling you what I heard. I haven't watched a game, so I don't even have an opinion.
This is a hearsay argument.
I mean, I think last week he was like 7 for 8 in the fourth quarter. It was ridiculous.
With that offensive line?
But I'm going to take.
No, he's going to get killed.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Texans as well. Sunday at 1, the 2-0 Chiefs are at the 0-1-1 Colts.
Kansas City by 6.5.
Indianapolis, I kind of, I don't want to say I had high hopes for them, but I thought it would be better than it's looked.
I did too.
Surprising. I'm back on my train of just picking Kansas City, and I'm going to pick them again and lay the points.
Yeah, I guess when a team like Atlanta is willing to give up their quarterback, you should think, well, why are they willing to give him up?
Yeah.
Because they need a new quarterback.
I know, but
they're in a total rebuild.
I know.
Down to the studs. I'll take Kansas City, but I will take the points at home. I'll take 6.5 at home.
I will go KC both ways. Sunday at 1, the 2-0 Bills are at the 2-0 Dolphins for a big AFC East division matchup.
Bills by 6.5.
Wow. Yep. I'm going with Buffalo. I can't pick against those guys the way they're playing right now. I just would love to see if a team's able to find something that they can get on them on either side of the ball. Just some kind of success scoring points, consistently moving the ball, or maybe forcing a punt. That's it continues to be an issue.
They punted plenty of times the other night. I will take Buffalo, but again, I'll take 6.5 at home. I'll
really?
Take the points, yeah.
Until further notice, I got to go with the Bills both ways. I mean, I think red-ass McDermott has an advantage over McDaniel.
He does have the red ass.
Still red even after all these.
He definitely has the red
He's just
ass.
red all over, so you just assume his ass is red.
Papa Smurf.
Sunday at 1, the 1-1 Lions are at the 1-1 Vikings.
Vikings by 5.5.
God, I hate the Vikings. I hate picking them. I hate thinking about it.
Told you last week I'm in an abusive relationship with the Vikings.
We all are.
They did it to me again.
They screw you every
week. They just always do it. I'm going to take Minnesota to win, but I'm going to take the points for Detroit. Amon-Ra St. Brown just is putting on a clinic here over the last however many games. Crazy.
I think it's 8 games with 8 or more receptions, 8 straight. I'm going to do the same thing. I'll take Minnesota, but I will take the points.
We're all on Minnesota and the points, so I'm going the same way. Sunday at 1 is the 0-2 Bengals at the 1-1 Jets.
Bengals by 5.5.
Bengals by 5.5
at home.
At the Jets.
Yep, that's what I mean.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the. But the Jets have put up some points with Flacco. You know what? I don't think it matters. I think Cincinnati gets on track this week, and I will lay the points.
I am going to do the same thing. I think if you take out the last 2 minutes of that meltdown, it's pretty average offensively for the Jets. I'll take Cincinnati.
I will take Cincy, but I'll take those points. I'm going to take those points. I'm on New Jersey. Sunday at 1, 0-2 Raiders at the 0-2 Titans.
Raiders by 1.5.
Raiders by 1.5. Man, Tennessee couldn't really do anything. It feels like they're trending downward. I think Josh gets the win. I will take them and lay them.
Yeah, I will take Vegas as well. I think they are the better team, but
yeah,
neither one of them has been very impressive.
Somebody has to get off the schneid in this game, but that doesn't mean they deserve to.
Right.
I'm going to go with the Raiders as well, but to me, this is a pick 'em.
Yeah, basically.
What were the points?
1.5.
Yeah. Sunday at 1, 2-0 Eagles at the 1-1 Commanders.
Philly by 6.5.
Man, I'm picking a lot of road dogs today.
Road favorites.
Road favorites. I'm sorry. Thank you for correcting me on that. And I got to do it again here. I'm going to take Philadelphia. I'll lay those points as well.
Yes, I will take Philadelphia, but I will take the points to keep it close. Philly coming off a Monday night game. You never know.
Paul is correct in his pick, and I will pick the same way. NFC East, early division game, it'll be closer than you think. Now we're going to skip over the Patriots.
Don't mess it up this week.
At 1 o'clock, and we're going to move to the later afternoon games. 4:05, 1-1 Jaguars at the 1-1 Chargers.
The Lack by 7.
Lack by 7. Yeah, Jacksonville's okay. But I think I'm going to take the Chargers, and I'm gonna lay the points. I think they have a nice output.
Yeah, I thought about taking the points, but I'm not going to. I think the Lack puts together, 10 days off, they put together a good offensive performance.
Yeah,
this is the kind of game they lost last year, by the way.
Yeah, I will take the points because I think Trevor Lawrence is going to show people that he is a good quarterback this year.
I think he's been okay. He wasn't great in the opener, but he was really good in the second game.
Yeah.
I think he's been all right. I think he's going to benefit from having an NFL coach.
I root for the guy. I really do.
Yeah.
I mean, I
root for anybody who gets so badly mismanaged.
That's right.
That he did last year.
I feel for the kid, and he hasn't complained.
No,
a guy who didn't even have enough respect for the process to go home with his team. Like that to me is unbelievable.
So I'll take those points. 4:25, the 1-1 Rams at the Cardinals, 1-1.
The Lar by 3.5.
3.5. Ooh, man, I'm tempted again. You know what? Now I'm going to take the Rams. I'm going to take the Rams, and I'm going to lay the points.
Me too. I think the Rams have really controlled this matchup in division under Kyler Murray.
Yep, we're all in lockstep there. 4:25, 0-2 Falcons at the 1-1 Seahawks.
Seahawks by 1.5.
Oof, another gross one here. I don't know. I'm going to take Seattle. I'll lay the points.
Yeah, I'm going to take Atlanta. I don't know why. This is a team that never finds a way to win, but I just think Seattle stinks.
Yeah, I know, but they both do.
I know.
And bad team, you take the home team.
You're right.
So
you're absolutely right.
I'm going by Paul's rule. I'm taking the Seahawks.
And you are right. That's probably why I'll lose that game.
4:25, 1-1 Packers at the 2-0 Buccaneers.
Game of the week.
The Bay of Pigs.
Tom Brady was at practice on Wednesday.
I know.
He must really want it.
So despite reports,
big game.
I think he doesn't want to lose to Aaron Rodgers.
I just think he doesn't want to go home.
Well, that could be, but I think.
Did you hear the report that during that 11-day hiatus that he was in New York with the oldest son there? Is that Jack?
Jack.
Yeah.
15th birthday party with Bridget.
Oh.
All right.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
15.
We talk about
maybe, but doesn't that make sense of something that could have been arranged ahead of time? Like
do you
how
mean?
they said. That was the big thing at the time is Tampa knew about this.
Right.
That he was going.
Right.
Well, 15 is a big birthday, Paul.
Well, I'm just saying maybe he just said, I want to be there for his birthday. I'm going to miss some time. Now, he didn't miss 11 days because of that.
No.
He
But
took
that
him
might
to
have been one
Vegas,
of the things.
Turned 15. Dad brings you
Good for him.
out on
Good
the
for
town.
Tom. He's Tom Brady. He can do what the hell he wants.
What's the line?
Tampa by 1.5.
1.5. Tom, terrific. I'm going to take Tampa Bay at home. I will lay that 1.5.
That's what I'll be rooting for, but I'm going to take Green Bay.
Paul's instincts are the same as mine. I'm going with Green Bay this game. Also, then he might have a letdown the next week.
Perfect. It's chess.
And,
one step ahead.
So now we go to 8:20 Sunday night on NBC. The 1-1 49ers are at the 1-1 Broncos.
San Fran by 1.5.
This feels like a small line to me. I mean, I know it's Denver. Of course,
Denver,
they're
a home underdog?
Yeah.
That never happens, guy.
Yeah, all right, I'm wrong, but I'm going to
But Denver home, that always happens.
Correct.
I'm going to take San Francisco.
I will take Denver to win the game outright.
I'm going to go with the 49ers. The Jimmy train keeps on chugging.
All he does is win.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Moving over to Sunday, 8:15. The 1-1 Cowboys are at the 2-0 Giants.
Giants by 1.5.
Wow.
Giants by 1.5. This game will not scratch my itch on Monday night. I don't know. I'm going to take Dable on the Giants, I guess, and I'll lay that 1.5.
I'm with Deuce. I think the Giants playing well, not great, but the schedule's been favorable. They're taking advantage. I'll take the Giants
Yeah,
without Dak Prescott.
I'll go with the Giants as well. The Dable-led Giants. Good for Brian Dable. Good for Brian Dable.
One of the real good guys.
I like him.
All right, now we move back
There you go.
to Sunday at 1.
Getting enough.
Right here at
I don't wanna
Gillette
hear it this
Stadium.
week.
The 1-1 Ravens visit the 1-1 Patriots. 1 o'clock home opener for the Patriots.
Ravens. I'm sorry, by 2.5.
2.5. I'm going to continue my trend. I'm feeling some Patriots positivity. I picked against them last week. I think the Ravens are better than they showed last week. Their defense. I'm not sure the Patriots can take advantage of that secondary, even if they were. But regardless, a lot of respect for Lamar. But I think somehow the Patriots are going to pull it out. I'm going to take the Pats 27-24.
Yeah, I like Baltimore in this game. I just think this is shaping up as mid to high 20s, and I'm not sure the Patriots are ready to get there. And for that reason, I'm going to take Baltimore 27-16. They clean up the issues they had in the fourth quarter against Miami in the secondary. They don't allow those chunk plays, and I think that's the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to take those points, but I'm taking the Ravens to win. 24-22.
Ouch.
Yeah. I wish I could get 3. Can I get 3, Paul?
You could buy them online probably.
I'll give you 3.
No, 24-22 is my score.
I'll let you buy the half a point.
Yeah.
How do they get to 22?
Oh, it's crazy. Crazy things
Field
are going to
goals.
happen. Yeah.
That's all they do.
Yeah. So, yes, folks, I did pick against the Patriots, but it's a close game.
I was
still early.
I'm not going to lie. I was a little taken aback.
It's a process.
Didn't
Yeah,
see
it's a
it coming.
process. All right, stay tuned for the playbook with John Rook.
Step inside the playbook.
And it is Thursday, so the pregame show on Sunday, 10:45.
Yep.
Correct. And
then-
Evan Lazar will be joining
playbook.
John Rook on the playbook. So
Oh,
don't forget
okay.
about
After
that.
he gets back from the fitting.
Oh, he's right
back.
there.
Oh, he's right here. Okay, so
I had a little inside information.
See
on
that guy right there?
all hands on deck.
He's
All right.
right there.
We'll see you next Tuesday.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check Patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.